This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our Supreme and Master Speakers, Circuit Barakeel, Remy Asalia, Mage Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Arcadia Lunashine, Dramavian, Nina Grimsdaughter, Casey Schaefer, Dimos, Lily Black, Hans Grenade, Sapa Chakwatol, Faris Jantoru, Cletus Oreo, Quick Levin, Luke Leonatrell, Ceres, Icy Lee, Lyria Rain, Pamela Isley, Umbral Wind, Naive Arino, Celeste Rascris, Elenriel Maximus, Edwin, Bob Cece, Fabson Voidworm, Remy Maverick, Code Red No, Mira Miri, Winebow Brood, Babe Arbalade, Kaisa Regina, Uzora Akari, AJ Brainswordson, Suno Shikano, Shesha Saltiri, Gideon Ura, Buster Gearhold, Azuta Starbreeze, and Camille Grino. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Aorcians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 226. It is the last episode of the year, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston. Why is your frame never fully fitting the?
Move him. Oh, now you moved me.
Look,
okay.
I fixed it. Welcome to episode 226. Nice. I'm joined by Georgi Wiston and Rollo Des. There we go. We did it. It is the last episode, like I said, of the year. I always feel a little sad when we get to this part, even though it's like 2 weeks. the podcast is gone for 2 weeks, and then we'll be back again. And also, the stream schedule there'll be like 2 streams that won't happen, I think, and then the rest is just business as usual. But for the podcast, we'll be gone for 2 weeks. So, like I promised, today's a MogMail special at the end. But we also have a couple of other things we need to talk about. We need to continue our Spoilercast. This is part 2 of the 5.4 Spoilercast. We'll review Starlight 2020, and then we will get to the MogMail at the end. And we will read all of it. There is 13 in total, so we have to keep that in mind. As usual, we will just keep going until we finish the MogMail, and then we will go into post-show. So post-show will probably be a little shorter again this week, but don't worry, we'll get the questions from the Syndicate done. Right, so also stay tuned for the post-show whenever that happens. Channel updates. There were some problems with our merch store. I still don't fully know what happened, but both the Mela crew shirt and the anniversary shirt disappeared from our store with no trace. Like there's no. It was like it had never been there. So. I don't know what happened. I've relisted it. It's all up again. So if you were looking for it, I couldn't find it. It's up on the store now. Exclamation merch if you're watching live. Even if you're not watching live on Twitch, Roderick will always be lurking in the chat. So if you're watching this on Twitch, you can just do exclamation merch in chat and he will give you the link. If you're watching on demand, link in the description. Right. This week in 14. Oh, it's been so long. I have no idea who did this last time. So let's just start from the left. Georgi.
To be honest, it's been so long. I don't even really know what happened in this last week. I did do some leveling in Palace of the Dead in preparation for the 12-hour stream. So
okay.
I'm currently at...
I'm going to have to pause you there because we probably also should acknowledge that we finished the 12-hour stream yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So that happened. So thank you to everyone who watched that. Yeah, if you haven't watched it, it's on the Twitch channel. It's going to take so long to upload to Speakers Place. I don't know if I'm going to bother with that.
I
But
mean, you can split it up. There's 4 distinct sections.
that's true. We'll for now just go to Twitch and watch it, but it might pop up on Speaker's Place one day. I need to keep up on 8, which is currently going on. If you were wondering why there was 1 week where there was no 8, it's because of 5.4. That's why. All right, continue, Georgi.
So yeah, I'm currently at floor. I just cleared floor 80 as a solo red mage. I'll probably keep doing that until I die, which will probably be sooner rather than later, but we'll see.
All right.
Other than that, I know. I guess I'm still leveling samurai. It'll get to 80 one day. I think that's it.
Okay.
Tome grinding, like everyone is doing, because it's only the second week and no one's sick of it yet.
Right. I have to do that. No.
Have you been capping with both characters and getting your parts too?
Yes, I do it on both my characters, Rollo.
Okay.
Rollo?
I have been bumping my Fisher a bit because I only had that at 49, so I was like, it's my last Gatherer. I'm almost done with the Culinarian. It's at like 70 something.
Right.
I did ocean fishing too recently because I haven't done the new ocean fishing. It's very easy to get 10,000 points now.
Oh,
good.
It is like I just like I wasn't trying and I was not using the right bait even, and I was just kind of doing whatever. I got like 9,500 points, and I only completed one of the objectives. Very annoying objectives, by the way. At least the ones I got, because there was like, okay, catch 12 crabs. Caught 11 fucking crabs. and then there's one objective too. It's like, okay, get I think strong bites is a 2 exclamation points one. It's like get like 24 strong bites, and it's like I kept getting the 3 the 3 exclamation point one. So it's like, just make it count, please. It's higher. It's come on. But if I completed those, I would have got 10,000 easily. Because
so 10,000. Is that the mount? Or is
that's
that
the mount?
Yes,
okay,
the mount.
Right.
Past
And
that, I don't know how. I guess if you really tried really hard.
I think 1,500 is the title, if I remember correctly. Could be a different number.
Yeah.
It's good fun. It was a full boat. It was very quick matchmaking, I guess, because everyone's doing it now. Let's see how long that lasts, I guess. But I'm probably gonna do it some more.
We'll do it on stream one day.
One day we'll do it on stream. I don't know what we have planned for tomorrow. So we might maybe tomorrow. I'll just keep saying maybe that for every stream. I've said it for like at the end of every stream we've done. So yeah, all right.
I also did one more thing.
Yes, go on.
Because I saw it posted on the Reddit this morning, and I was like, "Oh, I'm playing 14 in bed on my phone with my Steam Link thing." I was like, "That looks kind of comfy." So I pulled out my fucking. I had a spare cell phone, my old Pixel XL. This is no, it's Charge XL.
Oh,
okay.
I see.
Battery is shit though. It dies in half an hour. I was like, okay, I'll just use this to play some games on it. And I played 14 on it. I didn't do any combat stuff because I'm not good at using the controller. I used where is it? I used an SN30 Pro controller, which is like a SNES controller with triggers. Controller, by the way. And just connected to my Android phone, installed Steam Link.
So it's like the Vita feature, right?
It's basically just that.
Okay.
And I mean, for walking around and stuff, like I can today when I was playing, because I was doing the Starlight stuff, and I think the Nier stuff too. I was catching up on it. I just did it all on my phone, and I was just laying in bed and doing it with my little controller. It felt. It felt nice. I had to fucking blow up the UI really big because this is small.
I can. Yeah.
And the lag wasn't bad either. Like I know because I have a pretty good connection in my house, but and I mean there was a little bit of delay because it is a Bluetooth connection I had to use.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. Like I could totally see myself once if I practiced at how to like actually play the fucking game with a controller, like in combat and switching targets. I could do that as like a tank probably, but yeah, I'm gonna try and get the phone clip thing, so I can put my phone on top of the controller and see how that works. Just it seems nice.
Okay, so the game has to be running on your PC first of all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Steam Link.
So when you blow up your UI for your little screen, will that be reflected on your PC? So when you go playing the game on the PC, you have like massive windows everywhere, right?
Yeah, but you just save it as like a UI.
Oh yeah, that's a preset.
So it's not permanent. So.
Okay, yeah. All right, interesting. I haven't heard much about that in a while, but there you go. I didn't know the Steam had that option. I only knew about the Vita thing, so that's cool, I guess. I always wanted to try that because if you've watched Speakers for a long time, you'll remember when they introduced that feature, and I'm like, oh my god, I can fish while shitting, and but I never bothered to get a Vita. That was the problem because Vita.
You don't have to do it.
It's Vita.
With the Vita anymore, by the way, for PS4 at least.
Okay.
You can't. There is a PS4 remote app if you play on the PS4.
Oh, yes, that's true.
You can just use that. And use a DualShock 4. So
shitting while fishing is not what I want. Fishing while shitting. All right. Okay. Cool. I've not done anything other than tome grinding. Yeah, tome grinding. And the rest you've seen on stream. All right, let's jump into recent events. We talked about this last week, but it hadn't released in the... well, they hadn't made a public announcement yet, I think.
I believe we talked about that it was
the outfits.
Not gender locked.
Yeah, the outfits.
But I don't think we talked about them being on store because they weren't.
I don't know how we talked about it last week. It's a little weird, but I guess... Oh,
I just think the sale wasn't up itself. Like
the sale hadn't happened yet, I think.
That started on the 14th.
Yes.
We had already streamed.
Yes. Why does that keep happening to your frame? I do wonder. Odd. Your frame just will not fit. Right. Yes, so there's new optional items and there's a winter sale going on the Final Fantasy XIV online store. You know we love it. Love talking about that. Love pushing Square Enix's microtransactions. That's just
Any on sale you recommend?
Well, there are only okay. Well, there's I'll just read the post. Winter, because you know I will never recommend any items on the online store.
You buy everything from it, almost.
No, I don't.
No, he doesn't.
I buy dances.
And
because they're stupid.
Okay.
Winter is here, but school's not over yet. Dress up in the new... How do I pronounce that?
Collegiate?
Collegiate?
Yeah.
Attire and grab a quick slice of toast because you're late for class. Anime. The collegiate attire and a variety of Starlight Celebration items will become available on the Final Fantasy XIV online store starting Monday, December 14th at 12, so it's already started, 12 a.m. PST. To celebrate the festive season, we'll be hosting a winter sale for a limited time where all sale items will be marked down 30%. Use this opportunity to grab some gifts for your friends and yourself. It ends on January 25th, 2021 at 11 p.m. PST. Sale items, Starlight stuff, but also job level boosts, Tales of Adventure 1 Hero's Journey. So 30% off if you want to jump your characters.
No story skips, though. On sale.
No. I guess if you...
Get the Starlight robe if you don't have it. It's $2.10. It's a nice outfit.
I feel like I like the gear. I like the we talked about this gear last week, but it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't buy this as like this is not what school children in Ishgard wears. We already know that they don't. So it's kind of weird that we
Yes.
suddenly have anime Ishgard uniforms. But
Well, this is it's specifically referencing the April Fools.
yeah, I mean,
comic.
just because it's referencing like what became a meme, it's not. It doesn't mean that it's warranted. The meme is disconnected from the. I'm tired of being the old man in the room. I'll just be fine. It's
Your ways
lovely.
are over, old man.
I do like that. I do love that it's you can buy the skirt even if your character is male. So that's fine. I've seen some real nice photos of Hrothgar.
And I've seen a lot of, in particular, Rogan women happy that they can wear the pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So go get it now. Ends on January 25th. Funny thing happened though with the sale. People were buying, obviously, running to the online store to burn off some cash on goods, on digital goods, and the discount was wrong. Instead of 30%, they were only given 20% off when they were purchasing the Tales of Adventure stuff, which is a relatively the Jobscape, relatively expensive item on the store. So quite annoying, I would assume, if you were buying this and expecting 30% off, only getting 20. So a post was posted on the Lodestone. Refunds to be issued for the incorrect Final Fantasy XIV online store sale prices. You'd probably think, good. Not quite. We have confirmed that the discounted amount of winter sale optional items on the Final Fantasy XIV online store is different from what was advertised in the topics. So, all the Tales of Adventure, incorrect 20%, correct 30%. We apologize for the inconvenience this has caused. We are currently investigating on how best to rectify this issue, and we will message every affected customer in the coming days. Thank you for your patience and understanding. If you have any questions about this incident, please contact us at the Final Fantasy XIV Support Center. Apparently, what they are offering instead of just money back, they're giving you store credit, which to me is...
Krista.
Yes, Krista. I didn't even want to say that fucking cursed name, but yes, Krista. Not great, especially because this is not a lot of money. So it's not a lot of Krista either. So it's like a little fuck you. Like, it's a little like, you can't really, I don't think you can spend that amount of Krista on anything. Like, so what is 10%? Oh God, I don't want to math. No math allowed on the last episode.
But no, Chad is correct. You can use this as a buffer for your next sub if you use Krista to pay for your sub, like I believe Mailer does.
You can get a little off your sub, I guess. For the next month.
Not very useful for Australians. This is discussed in the Reddit thread. We can't buy Krista.
Oh,
and there's nothing on the store
anymore.
So you can't buy it either.
No,
because of our laws, you are technically supposed to provide refunds in money.
Yeah,
not Krista.
Yeah,
and because of that, most companies would rather just not deal with it, and I guess that's the case with Norway as well.
Yeah.
So.
Can you?
I guess some people will just have an unusable amount of Krista on their accounts.
Yes.
Can you not just like VPN to a different country and then?
I mean, I don't know. I've never looked into this.
Okay. Or is it just like if you have an Australian card, blocked from buying Krista?
If you are listed as an Australian account.
Yes.
Oh.
Now, I want to... Okay, so I don't know if we can't use Krista anymore, but I do remember that Krista was being phased out, at least from my region. And I don't know if that's done or if it was reversed. I'm sure someone in the comments is going to be like, actually, I'm from Norway, and I only pay my sub with Krista. Lukiel, you're full of bull... Okay, I haven't touched Krista in years, so I'm sorry if that's wrong. But yes, like YoRHa said, like there is some countries cannot use Krista, so for them it's
The good old USA though, you'll take your refund in Krista and like it.
yeah. Right. All right. So that's that scandal out of the way. Let's move on to the next scandal. Starlight Celebration, not a scandal.
Definitely not.
I wish it were like a drama channel. Like we would just be like, oh, Mela Vanadar fucking shat on the street. I don't think that's what drama channels do. I actually don't know what drama channels do, but there you go. Right, Starlight Celebration happened.
This went on too long. Why was it so long?
It's a very long quest.
Yeah.
And I have said this before. I related much more to the Lullafell in this quest than anyone else.
See, you're Mr. Grinch, aren't you?
All right, so so it's a very basic Starlight story overall. It's just child sad,
It's basic.
man does not understand the meaning of Christmas, learns what the meaning of Christmas is at the end, child is happy.
Yeah.
The end.
Very A Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Except, fortunately, no one is dead,
Right.
I guess.
Yes.
Okay. When are we going to recap this? By the way, it's just
We don't
We can't just recap this.
Yeah, I essentially recapped it.
I just want to make sure that's all we're doing for it. 'Cause I don't
Yeah,
wanna do
we're
it.
not going through the whole. No.
But I was going to say, did you get a hint of like, oh, this girl's dad has a disease?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like,
I did notice that.
I mean,
And there is
they-
like a very it's like an expensive cure that they have to get. It's like, interesting, and that they're doing this now. But yeah,
by the end of it, the cure was widely available.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that happened. But there's a couple of there's two things. One is less fun. The first part is the snowman mechanic was pretty. That's a new mechanic. That's a new thing in this game, I think, where they're just This is the turning the snowman. That one is like they're in the overworld, and then you turn them. There's like an interact menu, and then you turn them. Neat. I like it when they expand on like quest mechanics. Even though it's not much, it's something.
In the first quest, did you enjoy that you got your only taste of the Halloween event?
Yes.
You had to put away some falsely placed Halloween All Saints Wake decorations.
Yeah. Every other player. Yeah, there's a couple of problems with the snowman mechanic as well. When you turn them, like things happen, but that's fine. The second part that's not fun is the fucking box of rewards that you get, like that 5. What the fuck is that? Okay,
Children love using numbers 1 to 5.
We have had a lot of shitty rewards in this fucking game, and they fucking knew what they were doing as well, because they're like, oh, let's open the first box, and then you open it, and it's like it doesn't even show the name of what you're getting, just the icon, and it is the indigo star icon. Those fuckers. And then I thought, haha, funny. And then I'm like checking it, because I already knew that we were getting something involving numbers, because people were already using the number thing before. And I'm like, no, please, this cannot be indigo star. And then I hover over and I'm like, this is the number? Are we just, so they've already spoiled what's in the other ones. It's just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is. That's the reward for doing this fucking long, boring quest. It's just, well, to be fair, you get the snowman. You do get the snowman.
That's the real reward.
That is the real reward.
But until then, you get some fucking shit to clog up your inventory.
Also, the numbers. Okay, so I've seen, yes. First of all, why is there no 6 and why is there no 9? You've ruined a funny time. But you can do 420, so I guess that's possible. But Why? That's all I ask.
Why is it a Starlight item?
Well, it's
I
not.
don't. Like, could you imagine being a little Gardanian child to be like, wow, sparklers that spell number 5 over my head?
It's not even like properly holiday themed, and also they don't give any explanation or lore reason for why we have these. They just
said
exist.
You're supposed to just appreciate the gifts of giving.
Yeah.
As a result of the spirit of the Starlight Festival. Don't question it.
You know what I would have rather wanted?
What?
Like, just chocolate. Just give me like some chocolate, and I'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Stats or something, and it would feel like appropriate to be like, oh, you get a little piece of candy.
I wonder if it's like just something they had lying around. They're like, ah, fuck, we need to give them something else. I mean, they didn't have to actually, because they had a snowman mount. They had. We'll get back to the trees, but there's trees, the walls, and the loft, which is a lot. Why would they? It's almost like an insult at the end of each like quest to give us like, oh, you click the box. Let's see what's on. Could it possibly be a number 2? Yes, it is.
It's a raw animation too.
Yes,
like, you can't click it away. You have to wait and stare.
And as chat brings up, you can't use it as a countdown. The cooldown on it is far too long.
Yep, it is.
I want, if you guys actually have a use for it, I want to know, like, sincerely. That's like a jokey, like, 420. Like, if you have some actual use for it in game, I want to know how you use it.
Yeah.
See, I can understand other fireworks because, like, it's pretty, it's funny, it's nice. When would I want a random number 4 above my head?
And it's up for such a short time too. It's
really short.
You barely see it before it's gone. So I don't know. It's the most bizarre thing I think we've ever gotten, in except for like 1.0 items where we got like a peach branch and some sugar.
How they even use it during raids? Because it's an action. You have to use it. Like it. When are you going to use it in the middle of the fight? You're going to stop casting something in a savage raid to use a sparkler?
It's weird. I don't know. It's but the main reward is the snowman mount, which is really well made. It even has 2 modes. If you go into RP walk, you just remain a snowman.
It's very scary.
Yeah, very creepy snowman. And if you use normal walk, you pop out of it and move around.
That's really cute.
I think it's very underrated that every mount has a walk, and some, if particularly for the flying ones, is no different from running.
Right.
But like, it's an amazing amount of work they put into something that a lot of people will never use.
Right. Yes. Now, I also appreciate that the other rewards can be just purchased through Gil. You don't have to do a repeatable quest to get tokens. You can just buy them. So obviously, you fill your retainers up.
Yeah. Load up while you can before it goes in the mod station.
We need to talk about the trees. That snow does not move. There is static snow on the trees, and the trees move, but the snow does not. And I'm sorry if I'm ruining the tree for you, but that snow ain't moving.
You think that's a bug?
No, I think that's just spaghetti. They have to because there's always some fuckery involved when they have to make outdoor furnishings because of the limit on what they can show. And I'm pretty sure that they just can't have that big mass be like animated like that. So they I think it's just attached to the actual tree. So it's not, I don't know. It's sad, but don't look too closely on them. They look really good though.
Yeah.
If you don't look too closely.
It would have been nice if they gave them as part of the quest rewards, but I don't think they've ever given housing items as quest rewards simply because not everyone can use them.
They have. They've given their housing items for... What do you mean? That they're not giving housing items during seasonal events?
No, not that they don't give them, but they're normally purchased.
Oh, purchased. I see. Right. Through the store. Yeah. I know.
Through either Gil or whatever fun seasonal event currency they have created for the.
I mean, you get furnishing items through the main story quest.
That's true. They're normally internal items.
Yeah.
Chad is bringing up because at least you can have a apartment.
Yes. So how do you even was this a good event?
It was a meaty event.
Yeah.
I'm being honest when I say I have a very low bar for a good event, especially for specific holiday events.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's Christmas. It's a Christmas event. What? Ooh. There it is again.
I don't know what it is, so we'll. Yeah. Go on. Sorry, Rollo.
I would say I usually judge events more so by the rewards you get. I would say,
Mm-hmm.
and the rewards I like. I think these are good furnishing items in a good amount. So I'd say it's good.
Okay.
The letters were cute too. I read most of them.
Oh yeah, the letters. We forgot to mention the letters.
The letters are the best part of this event.
Yes.
Yeah, as soon as I got my stupid sparkler, I was like, okay, but who sent me a letter?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, that's true.
So we get letters from the 3 adventure. What's it called? Adventures Guild.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
There's probably a name for them.
And the what's that? Bourbon?
Battaron. You get ones from Melweeb, Kane Senna, what's her name? The fucking Sultana.
Yeah.
One from
Nanamo.
Reen?
You get one. Yes. No, you get one from Lise.
That's Lise? Okay, I thought that was Reen.
You get one from Reen? I definitely don't remember one from Reen.
Yes, you do get one from. Oh, is it from Reen?
The one from another world. That's from.
I thought that was Feo Ul.
No. Feo Ul does not send a letter. She just whispers in your ear.
Yeah, there's.
Was there one from? Oh, because I only did the seasonal event on my character before I did the Eden raid.
Yeah, it's one from Reen and
Okay, that's fair.
The one
then
from Reen,
I haven't read the Reen one then yet.
The one from
that's
Reen,
something to look forward to.
Yeah, the one from Reen. Well, I'm not going to spoil it, but it confirms something. All right. That's
the alpha one is cute. I like.
Yes, that one's cute. Yeah.
I like acknowledgement that alpha exists.
Yes. Yes. So I think that's what kind of saves this quest or this event for me is the cute little letters and the reward. But the story, snore me a river. That is literally every Starlight event. But yeah.
No, singing mini game. They didn't bring it back.
No. I wanted to see Rogadin with long open mouth. I missed that.
I want to hear the
mediocre event, but with some good points in it. I think it's just an okay event overall.
Yeah, I think it's an okay event. It's not a bad event. It's not an actively bad event like we've had in the past.
No. All right, that's Starlight Celebration, and that is recent events. That means it is time to continue the spoiler cast. So, did something just appear on screen for a second?
Not that I saw.
Okay, I'm starting to see. I'm losing my mind.
Crazy. It's all our stream review.
Yeah, it's I'm okay. Spoilers time. Oh, what?
No sound. Where's the bonk?
Well, where's the warning sound first?
Okay. Okay. Nobody panic. There we go.
Oh, perfect. Look at my can of half and half.
Who's that old man on it?
Arnold Palmer, inventor of the Arnold Palmer drink. How dare you?
I don't want to look at an old man when I'm drinking things.
No, I don't want the old man to remind me that I'm going to look like that one day too. You know? I'm going to be old.
That's going to be you one day.
Yeah, look at him.
Why is it so large?
Okay. Back on the show.
Cut this out.
Yeah. 5.4. All right, time for spoilers. 5.4 spoiler review part 2. We ended after talking about the AMSQ and Eden. So today we will continue with Sorrows of Werlyt, and then we will read. Then we will go through Nier and the Void quests. All right. Sorrows of Werlyt. It's been 2 weeks now, so my memory is slipping a little, but. We essentially just start right where we ended last time, where the G weapon is out of commission after the fight with Sapphire weapon, which is like just still in the water in the background of Turncliffe. If you go look at the water.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's quite difficult to move. I imagine it's very big.
Yes. I know this game has limitations, so. But I have this thing where I just tend to I try to look for, the limitations, and I stare at it for too long. There are 3 airships that are trying to I guess tug it, move it, and they stand completely still. They are.
I not noticed this.
PNG still. Which is weird because the Sapphire weapon is kind of moving and bouncing a little, but those airships, they are still. All right. So yes. So G weapon conveniently out of action for this story.
There's a nice little moment during this cutscene where when Sid mentions that the G weapon is out of commission still, the Warrior of Light looks disappointed about it.
Listen, I want to be a pilot again. Put me back in the mech.
Yes. So Sid there's an investigation undergoing in Turncliffe, and of the facility, I guess, in Turncliffe, which reveals that there is a third weapon. Shocker.
Yes. Most of the information had been taken away. They had managed to remove it before we arrived, but we were able to find out that piece of information.
Yes, they theorized that it might have been transported. They have leads. I think they mentioned that in the quest. So they have a strong suspicion that it has been moved to either Castrum Marinum or Castrum Occidens.
They theorized that because no one saw it leave by either land or air, so assumedly it has to be by sea.
Yeah.
I forgot there were just dudes still in Castrum Marinum, by the way. Just Garleans in there.
Yeah.
I mean, not anymore, at least. They leave.
Yeah.
Well, they're still there.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got... That's still... Yeah, that is weird. I just don't like the thought that there is a manned castrum.
Many man castrums.
Yeah.
In
YoRHa still.
Imagine being a dude in there that has to just scavenge for shit. There's a civil war going on.
I believe that the game. I believe the game justifies them as just being abandoned by the Empire because they failed, and that's why they're just there still.
Yeah. And that's kind of where the story is going as well, that they're defecting, that a lot of legions are parting with the Empire and becoming their own things. That's kind of the main storyline in Bosnia. Right. So we go investigate with Gaius at Castrum Marinum. Severa and Voldolin investigates Occidens. So we enter Marinum via the dry dock. It's weird going there because we've never really seen this castrum from the inside.
It looks... First time I've seen a sub in game, by the way, actually used.
Oh yeah, an actual real not like our tiny toy subs that we use for FC.
Guys, it's like, hey, I got a sub. Or not guys.
Yeah.
Is it said? I think someone has a sub and we use it.
Yeah. Yes. So yes, we enter Marinum, Rex, and then that's where we meet Rex and the Emerald Weapon. Is there like anything that happens before the fight? I feel like it's pretty straight
Don't
on.
you get the cutscenes before? No. Okay. So this, I think, Ellison Man. He's like, if you can, I think you can talk to him before you get into the sub, or before he does that. No, sorry, this is after.
Okay,
this is
all right. Yeah, so Emerald fight begins. I guess we can now talk about Emerald Weapon. We have done some of the extreme. We've gotten to 25%.
Well, we've seen the entire extreme fight.
We are mostly limited by just time. So we would have I would say that we have pretty much cleared it. But
we only have like a lockout and a half, I guess. So
yeah.
We would have finished that day. Hopefully we finish it maybe this week.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. I think Monday is when we're supposed to do it again. That's next time, I think. Right. So but let's talk about the story version first. It's okay. So the first phase, I think, is a little. I don't find that as exciting as when we did, for instance, Emerald. I think Emerald weapons.
Ruby weapon?
I mean Ruby. Sorry, I mean Ruby. Ruby weapon. I felt like Ruby weapon was more chaotic, had like way more mechanics that were like strange and unusual, like with the nails going into the.
Yeah, I can agree.
I feel like Emerald is more of what we've seen before with a couple of twists.
Yeah.
The magnet thing was cool.
Yeah.
I don't think they've done that for AoEs just yet. Where they AoE
Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay. I didn't complain about it too much.
It's not a bad fight, but it's like, all right. It's
the second part's coming.
Yeah. Second part. I don't know why they did this with Ruby as well. Is that they have this cutscene in between, which you already know when you're playing it. Like even if it's story mode, you're like, oh, raiders are gonna fucking hate this. Like this is gonna be so annoying for people that want to farm this. But
hey, it's not Byakko, so
yeah, it's
true.
not Byakko and it's not Suzaku. It's,
true.
I think going forward, they're generally gonna try and make like phase transitions non-interactable, so that at least it's not painful to go through.
Right. Yes.
There is also the benefit of the fact that the weapon storyline so far has checkpoints after the phase transition.
Yeah. It gives you a little time. It gives you some time to relax before.
Only thing about resets or the checkpoints though is that like you basically have to reset.
Yes.
Like you have to just kill yourself instantly because like why would you go into the fight with
like
you have your cooldown down?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense because it's essentially a new fight.
True. So yeah, the second part is Gaia's mode. Not a shocker, I think. I think we were pretty sure it was going to be Gaia's. Well, to be fair, we were wrong. No. Well, we had a couple of options when we talked about this. There was the Ritaten thing, which was completely off the mark. It's not even a fucking fart of him in this fight. There was, and then there was Gaia's. But I thought they were. I thought they would save Gaia's for like the last fight.
Yes, that's what I was expecting.
Well, they blew their load early.
Yes. Well, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's well, I mean, we get Gaia's. That's the Black Wolf, to be more specific.
Song too. I really like the song.
Yes,
it's probably my favorite song in the patch that is readily accessible to us.
Okay.
I'd have to listen to the extreme more
Yeah.
before I decide whether I like that more or not.
So we have the Black Wolf Gold version, which is still a thing that we have no explanation for. He can just turn golden. And now it becomes more of a dodge fight, like dodge mechanics fight. Quite fun. It's just dodge, like it's dodge the AoEs.
I mean, that's most extremes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I
It's-
feel like you could say
it's-
that for most fights in this game.
Yeah,
Ultimately,
but you know what I mean. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, men on the sides, men on that side, pattern,
Yeah.
find it, dodge, move. That's the main mechanic of this fight.
I like the soldiers firing. I think.
Yeah,
It's neat.
yeah.
I like the green version too. I think it's and
really
plus it's no downtime.
Mm-hmm.
are they soldiers? Because it feels like they're just like a bunch of Gaius clones.
No, they're
They're wearing a Garlean officer uniforms, I think.
Okay, because I've never looked at them that closely. I always thought it was more interesting and amusing,
Oh.
thinking that they were just like swarms of like illusory Gaiuses.
Uh-huh. If you have the gold Magitech mount, it explains it, apparently. The gold color. According to the Magic alloyed gilding has since been discovered to dampen the effects of elemental charges and is now standard issue.
But how does it go from?
Wait, whoa. How is it standard issue when we've only seen it once on one man? Which, also, by the way, standard issue appears in a magic, like, puff. He's just gold. Okay. I mean, they've tried. Let's give it. They wanted something cool for A Realm Reborn's ending, and then they tried to justify it through the lore. We'll buy it. Fine. Standard issue.
It's just funny.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it too hard.
Yeah.
I'm not going to accept standard issue. I've seen very little evidence of standard issue.
I am struggling with that as well. Yes. Well, anyways, fight. There's. Are there any? Oh, there's one new, very interesting mechanic that is introduced in this fight, and that's the sword in the ground, which with quadrants that you have to run, you have to dodge.
It's so deceptive to the
Yeah.
size of, because it's thin, right? And you think thin cross or X.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well,
no, it's a fat fucking X and cross.
in normal, there is an AoE marker to show you the actual size. In extreme, you only get the thin line
Yes.
to show you where it will appear, but it
Yes.
does not indicate how actually quite thick it is.
Right.
There is also I like the individual push mechanic that everyone gets as well.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's that as well.
That's pretty easy to coordinate in normal too. So you just
Well, in normal, it's only 3, and they're all going the same direction.
Yes.
In extreme, there are 6, and there are 3 different directions you have to worry about.
Yeah. So yes, let's talk about extreme then, because we've essentially described all of that is normal mode. Just rinse and repeat. That's that. In extreme, it's essentially the same, but it's like you said, it's tuned up a little. So there's more of the mechanics. So for instance, the worst part is near the end where there's people on all sides. There's flying Magitech, there's soldiers, and the flying Magitech is different from the people because the flying Magitech will have numbers above them, and then the first one starts moving first and the fifth one is last, and then they don't just cross the arena rapidly like you'd think, like Ifrit. They do that, but that's deceptive because that doesn't even hurt you. What actually happens is that they drop bombs slowly along their path. And then you also have to pay attention to the soldiers doing their pattern thing on top of that.
Functionally, the sky armors work like exaflares.
There you go. Yes.
Extreme also adds more mechanics to the first part of the fight. It has that fight with the Tethered Orbs as well.
Right. The Tethered Orbs, which, yeah, that's very early. They throw that at you at the very beginning. Yeah.
I'm very glad that it's early because I feel as if putting that later in the fight, there's a high chance that people will mess up.
True.
And will lose a lot of progress.
Yes, that would be very annoying.
Did you guys like how Turncliffe looked? By the way, I thought that was really cool seeing the
Was that the background?
Oh
Yeah,
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 the arena. Yeah.
That's just another part of Werlyt.
Yeah.
Werlyt, sorry.
Yeah. Werlyt. Yeah.
It was cool.
It was.
I like that guy's actually comments too. Fucking looking at you, Eden.
Yes. Yeah. I think I prefer Ruby so far over this one.
I think I prefer the second phase of Emerald Weapon, but I prefer the first phase of Ruby Weapon. I think the second phase of Ruby Weapon is pretty easy.
Don't you remember all the quadrants we had to stand in with all the... Remember the ads that you had to like move in like a specific order? Like they had to be... I can't even remember it. It was so fucked. And there was like a safe zone that I would just constantly run to because I was terrified.
Okay, so just say easy. I would say I find the Ruby Weapon second phase more disappointing because it is shorter.
That's true.
I still think it just surprised me so hard with Ruby Weapon seeing fucking nail, like gooey nail. Because they hid that pretty well.
Yeah. Also, the Ruby Weapon, yeah, they did hide it really well. And also, I feel like the background was very, like, it's hard to top that. Like, that was a very spectacular battle arena for the last part.
Yeah.
This is kind of unrelated, but I still want to know how they have Nail's combat data from when she's already, like, tempered?
Remember, gold uniforms are standard issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just accept that they were still collecting data on her after she transformed into some sort of half-dragon lady.
Yeah.
It was like transmitting while she was transformed. It's like, oh, beep boop, I love Bahamut.
Yes.
The girl's like, wow, we can use this data.
At least the Gaius one is when he was still loyal to the Empire.
Yeah. All right. So we finished the fight. Rex obviously dead because he used Project Oversoul.
Sad. Gaius is sad.
Yeah, Gaius is sad. There's only 2 people left, one of which they... we get an echo flashback. Yeah, now... Alphonse reveals... So there's Ali is her name, yeah. So Alphonse and Ali are the 2 that are left. Alphonse tells Ali that the other 4 agreed to participate in the weapon project to prevent others from suffering as they did, and so Ali would escape after. So they're protecting the girl. Classic.
Can I say?
Yeah. It's a classic trope. I'm telling you.
I hate when this comes up in media.
Same.
If I was
go on.
Not even just the fact that it's Ellie. No. I hate when people that you think are your like closest confidants lock you out of something to protect you. Yeah. Because it feels like they're really patronizing you.
Yes.
Why is
she for some reason not allowed to do any of this? She's like just this weird outsider, like protect the child. It's so stupid.
She's not even the youngest.
No,
Melisandre is supposed to be the youngest.
So why then are they protecting her so much?
It makes it
interesting
seem like
trope. I would say
more of this.
Yeah.
If I was, I would have been way more upset and traumatized than she. Yeah. She came out of this relatively fine. It's like she's obviously still traumatized and really sad about what her family is doing, has done, but this really is one of my least favorite things that happens in media, and anytime it comes up, I'm really upset and feel very bad for the character that it's
for me. To me, it just strikes me as the classic like protect the girl trope because that is the only reason I can find for this because she's not, like you said, she's not even the youngest. It's why
they didn't protect the other one.
They didn't protect
Melisandre. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
She was the first one that died.
Yeah.
And so they didn't protect her.
Yes, but then why? Okay, we're not going to go into this deep.
It's just because she's like the soft one, you know.
Why?
Like, I can see that.
So
like
she's the
I
soft
got
one.
no
I see.
idea as to
Interesting.
Melisandre's personality, I have to say. Or Recon's, really.
Yeah.
Well, one of them died, but Alphonse like, okay, well, she's not the baby, but like she's stayed innocent the most through all this. So
Why? How?
Okay, I
Because
think
they fucking infantilized her? Why?
yeah, I agree with you, Georgi. Well, let's not go into this, but it's a trope that we've seen many times before, and it is being repeated in this questline. Anyways, Alphonse orders Rex to lock her away so Gaius can take care of her, while Alphonse goes back to Valen's.
right.
Right. So they, because we know this through the echo, we know where to look for her, and they find her, right? They come
her.
back from Occidents and have located Ellie. Yes.
Yeah.
I believe they find her before they even reunite with us. Like, they searched the facility well before they came to meet up with us.
So also, I just want to say this. So the one thing that can redeem Allie's role in this is that there's a twist at the end. That she turns out to be like the most, like, that she is somehow more important than we might think. So that I'm holding out for that. But so far, tropey.
We'll get to that. We can talk about that when we get.
Yeah. Right. So Allie is covered in bruises. So that's this story. There's a lot of odd things that they've done in this story, but we'll get to it. Valens is a bad man.
He's a very bad man. We'll get to it. I think this is the darkest story that we have had in 14.
One of the more overtly dark, I would say, because there's been some implied stuff and some stuff that happens in like people's backstories.
Yeah,
but this is front and center.
It's the first time we're actively, as the Warrior of Light, are dealing with something this dark.
Yeah,
and they did overtly say that too. It's like, hey, this one's going to be more mature.
Yes.
So,
I also want to point out that having Allie be the weak and then turn out to be strong is also a trope. So I hope they're not going directly for that. They've kind of fucked it either way right now. So we'll see how they solve it. Right. We get a Severa. Is that how you say that? Her name? Severa's backstory. So she was forced. Severa, who's that again in the story?
She's Gaius's.
Oh, that's the woman. That's the lady. Yeah. Forced into Garlean army. Oh yes, her mother is ill.
Well, she was ill. She's dead now.
Yeah. But this is a backstory. So she was forced into the Garlean. She was conscripted into the Garlean army. Her mother was ill. She returned it. I know this is really sad, but there was just something about there was like that specific photo was kind of Hildebrand-esque, and I can't quite, because her mother, I know the one you're talking about. It was too visual to me. It was like she comes home and then her mother is literally just dead in the street with a Garlean just laughing in front of her.
Yeah.
And I thought that's a little too on the nose. That's too much.
It should have been like a grave or something.
Yeah, I find it very strange that just happened there. But it's a sad story. And it's the reason Severa defects. She's sort of being mistreated. So for a lot of people, this was like a bit of a dark... I mean, it is a dark patch. But this stuff like this has been told since A Realm Reborn. That Garlemald is a terrible, terrible place. Like, they are not kind to the people that they conquer. They are horrible people.
Not even Garleans are.
Not even no. You need to be like high up, and they've also made it cleverly so that it's very difficult to get high up. So some people just can never. Like if you're not Garlean, you can never get that high. So now we actually get to see it more, or they tell it more in detail this time. So Ali reveals Valen's backstory. So Valen's was the potential leader of the 14th Legion, which is Gaius's legion, but and Gaius was chosen instead. So he is jealous of Gaius's the fact that Gaius got to lead the 14th Legion, and worked underneath Nero on the Ultima weapon. So
imagine that, you were potentially the leader, and then you don't even get to be the second in command.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was snubbed, as he might say.
Yeah. So Ali then explains that Alphonse wanted to use the weapons project to fight back and establish a safe haven from the Empire, which
so that no one else would go through what they went through.
Yeah. Now,
which I think is a more heroic thing to do than what they did to Ali.
Yes, I agree. So Alphonse is now in the correction chamber. Valens looks like Lord Farquaad. I think we just have to. I think we have to acknowledge that. But we get to see his face, and
so for all those people that were thirsting over his naked, sweaty body from last patch,
I hope that
this is the
man. Yes. He's a horrible-looking man, and they have this. So, okay, there's a lot of weird, like uncomfortable stuff happening.
A lot to explain here.
Yeah. So first of all, good. I don't like the close-ups of his face, and there's a lot of them in this scene. We get to see these children again, which
I love child soldier.
And
they're not seemingly not soldiers yet.
No,
they just get to be.
I don't want to think about it.
No,
child soldiers, potential child soldiers.
Are they all non-Garlean? I can't remember, but I think they.
I didn't see a single Garlean amongst them, but
No.
yeah. So Alphonse is in the middle of the room. He has his children. His many young children holding.
What?
Sorry.
His entourage.
Yeah.
His entourage of children, ready with their hot. What are they called?
It's just.
Brands.
Yeah, well, they're just iron. It's just like like hot iron. There's no because brand they would have like a stamp on it, like a seal or a symbol. So
that's for sure.
Yeah, we get the most psychopathic scene I think we've seen in a long time in this game, where there's one YoRHa boy that's new to this entourage, it seems, or has never done what they're about to do, because before that there's like one child that just burns his back with the iron.
It's Alphonse's back with the iron, yes.
And then Farquaad, he just kind of he stares at him for a while, and then he just goes, "Burn out the bad, burn out the bad, burn out the bad." And then all the children are just like staring at him. He stops and he just stares at all the children. The children like, "Burn out the bad." And then everyone's like in a psychotic, like trying to like egg him on to like burn his back. It's very fucking bizarre.
There was
yeah.
No, go right.
There was the one camera angle where It's like, I don't know if this was intentional, but it's like pointed at his ass. And he's like clapping, and he's like shaking his ass while he's clapping.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. I mean, we're laughing, but it is a very uncomfortable scene. But I think we're just laughing because we don't know how to process this scene.
I think this was a good. This scene in particular was good. I was like, okay, the sadist, or
it was a well-made scene.
Yeah.
And I didn't like how after the YoRHa used the hot iron on Alphonse's back, he was like smiling at Valen's.
Yeah. It's like, I did it. I did the thing. Yeah. There's also this like, it's so weird in retrospect because there's like a point like when he burns them where, because there's the like subtle B plot of this like secretary or whatever sitting outside of the corrections room, and he's just like writing, and then I guess there's a scream, and then he just stops writing and just looks up for a second, and then he goes back to writing. It's I don't know if that's meant as like slight comic relief or whatever, but
it's supposed to be comic relief, although just saying that like
they're used to that.
Yeah, it's just a part of Garlean life, or at least undeveloped.
I felt that more like at the end, and I guess that's why they're building it up, because we see him multiple times.
Yes.
It also, because it shows that, I think they're trying to show that even though there are really like the people at the top of Garlemald there's a reason they're there. They're all fucked up. So this one soldier is a lower rank officer or soldier, and he's, because at the end of this scene when Valen leaves with his children, the soldier is actually looking at the children and is like almost as he's like, what is this? And then he goes in to check what's in the room, and then he just closes the door. So I think they're trying to do that as well, because it's not good if they're, because Garlemald is big. We already knew Garlemald is bad, so I think they're trying to like. That's why I want. This is kind of why I want a Garlean expansion as well, because I want to know how a society like that can even function.
As you can see.
Yeah, it does. And that's why I'm so intrigued. Like, how do they keep it running? How can so many of them be fucked up?
What if the tax man is just like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Torch my secretary today.
Yeah. Right. So, is that's it for the scene?
No, because this is when also once they're done torturing Alphonse, he explains what they're going to do with him now.
Yeah,
he's like, really, Valen's is very annoyed that Alphonse lost Ali, and that as a result, he will be the person that will pilot the final weapon, assumedly diamond weapon, but they never say that, and that they will manually control Oversoul externally so that Alphonse cannot rebel while in control of.
Is this when he also like because there's like he talks about like how he views like non-Garleans as well, right? There's like this, he has this uncomfortable speech about how they are lesser, or maybe he's not him. I think that's someone else talking about how Valence looks at, right? In the last cutscene. All right, okay. Well, maybe we'll get to that. I'll remember it at the end if it's not in the notes. All right. So Valence goes to check on the final weapon experiment, and we get a really gross scene. So there's a conscript in a machine that has been put there to test Xenos's data. The hunt. Right. It's just Xenos like going with his bloodthirst for the hunt. But it's like this story. There's like a woman and child, his wife and daughter, I think. And then
made to watch this.
Yeah, they're made to watch this. It's bizarre. And they turn him into like this disgusting Xenos clone, and we don't really see the clone, except for when they open the door and like parts of it just comes out like a gooey, long-limbed mess. And then he's like, okay, well, guess we need to do some more testing, and we'll just use. We have 2 more we can test it on, and essentially just she's like, oh, but he did that so we could go free, but I was like, what a fool to believe that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Even the scientist is like, but you said that they'd go free.
Again, we
and
get
then he
that.
Laughs in his face.
Yes.
In a really creepy, horrible way.
Yeah. And that's interesting because, again, they do that. Where, like, a lower level member of the Garlean Empire is like, wait,
But not
that's
all
not
Garleans.
right. What?
They're just going like, oh, but not all Garleans. You
Yeah,
know?
right. That's what they're doing. Right. Next
We get a very quick flashback to flash to Alphonse in the correction chamber, and we see him reminiscing about his family. There's a shot of him seeing the 3 of the dead ones in his eye, which I thought was
right.
interesting.
Yes.
Very, very anime.
Very anime.
It was very anime.
I like it though. Well, that
Yeah.
part.
We return to Turncliffe. This is a new quest. Yes.
Mhm.
So that's essentially the end of the Werlyt story quest. Now this is a side quest to the Werlyt story quest, where there's an ex-conscript, I guess, who was friends with Melisandre and worked on Ultima Weapon. She explains that she needs something in the old. You don't remember what? Something in the old Turncliffe lab. Don't remember what.
I don't remember what she was collecting at this point, but she needed to go into the old Turncliffe lab for some reason.
She needed to go, and she was looking for, like, I think the KIA status of people, and she was like, "Oh, well, their data's probably still in the computer."
Oh, list of people. Yeah. There's list. Yeah.
Yes,
because she wanted to make a monument. Yes. She explains that Gaia's. So we get access to that, don't we? Because I feel we go over there, and we're like,
we get her in.
Yeah, we get her in.
Very important.
She explains that Gaia's was okay. So this is we get some Gaia's. Okay, this is the weirdest part of this story. He was.
Cons?
He was a good father, adoptive father, but he didn't get to spend much time with his children. Livia is interesting because they had to retcon some stuff here. Livia would get jealous and prevent him from spending time with Alphonse and the others. Which is what they had to do, because otherwise that would not be a good... Because she is clearly, like... She is an... Okay, Castrum Livia has big H for Gaius. I think we can all agree. So now they're trying to rewrite it so that she was just jealous of the other children.
She's just very possessive.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Yes.
I've never had any interest in her.
Yeah.
Don't just forget about when he called her to his bedroom. That's fine.
Yeah. I don't know why they did that. I feel like that retcon makes it worse. They could have maybe she was not one of his children. They could have done that. They could have tried that.
I was hoping that they were going to deal with it, because earlier, the Elezen man, I think in the hint text, if you talk to him, or I think you do talk to him in the actual quest itself, he's like, look at Gaius pretending to be a good daddy and everything. I know what he's really like. And I'm like, oh, are they gonna deal with that?
Yeah. No. Livia's. It's all on Livia. She's just crazy. And this is. Yeah.
I'm gonna blame the type.
The what?
Bad.
Blame.
I'm gonna blame the victim.
Yeah.
Really
It's not a good look. I don't like this retcon. It's weird. And then the only mention of Ritatin in this quest is that he was nice.
He was a nice man.
Yeah.
He came to see all the YoRHa children before he died.
Yes.
He was their nice uncle.
But we get to see him like without his armor.
Unmasked.
Yeah.
Hmm. I like that he has a haircut that he couldn't have had back then.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a little disappointed that this was their chance to like, because they like leaning into the meme. Like that's why they gave us the Ishgard school uniform. Why didn't they lean into the Cape Westwind meme when they could? They had the chance.
I don't think they want that seriously.
For a mature storyline, no time.
Yeah.
This conscript girl decides to help Ironworks to fight against the Garleans. She's on our side, obviously.
The name she said she wants to still make that monument.
Yes,
but this is more important for now.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that means by the end of this storyline we will have a monument. So there you go. That is Werlyt.
It is my favorite storyline, probably from this patch.
Yeah. Yes, I think I agree with that. I think
MSQ was good, but like it's very much an intermediary story.
Yeah, I think the pacing was off with the MSQ. But yeah, I think this one was so jarring. Like it was so dark. It was so different. And it also gave us like as much as I like the Limsa part of the MSQ. I mean, when I say Werlyt over MSQ, I mean like they are neck and neck for me. But I feel like Werlyt is slightly.
I think Werlyt is more solid as a whole.
Yes.
Whereas the MSQ definitely has high points, but it's less consistent as a story. And I guess Werlyt probably has the benefit of being shorter, so that's why it can remain more consistently strong. It's
the first time I was really sad that there's no voice acting in this storyline. Yeah.
I like it overall. I like some parts of this story too. It's kind of weird about the abuse stuff, and then the Gaia's rewrite or retcon is just. I get you want to make him a good guy, that he's one of the pals, and he's one of my favorite characters personally. Love him, but he's a bad boy. He's a bad little man. He can be a good man now if he wants to, but that wasn't right. Like he did some shit.
He has done some shit, which is why I'm expecting there to be more on him going for. I mean, I feel like for a storyline that involves Gaia's this much, there's been surprisingly little, like, backstory on him, like, other than through his children. Like, there's very little about. I don't feel like I know Gaia's more. I know his children more. I don't know him more. So I feel like maybe in the next.
He was a good father.
I do like the pilot drama stuff. I mean, if you've seen mech anime, you know how this goes. I would not say it's standard stuff, but these are common tropes. They're common tropes because people like them. I don't know. I will say I think what was it, Valen's, right?
Yeah, Valen's.
I like his motivations as a villain. In general, I do like the jealousy part. He's been snubbed by guys, and he's like, it was supposed to be me. And now I'm going to torture children and potentially sexually abuse people. I don't know. They're a little vague on that one, but I would, in his current state, I guess he's a better villain than Xenos right now.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. This is such a weird quest line now. It's so. Compare it to like last patch, where we were flying mechs, and now is like these are some
Finally,
uncomfortable
it's quite
topics.
consistent.
Yeah.
I think it's weird for 14 to be in this kind of dark area. Not because like I don't think like you shouldn't tell dark stories or anything like that. But it comes out of left field, and they've definitely always kept that stuff more in like
Implied more than
before this. I feel like the biggest implications we got were like stuff with Livia and stuff with Yotsuyu as well.
Yeah.
With Secret Center, it feels a little strange for the tone of 14 in general. Not that it's bad. Again, it's just
it's different to what we're used to, right?
Yeah. I think that's why I like it. Is because I'm starting to get like, this is what I expect of 14.
Yeah.
And like, this is very much like, people are fucking dying.
Yeah.
Like, and they're not main characters, but a lot of these characters are dying.
Yes. It's kind of what I wish they did more in Stormblood, which is like, in Stormblood, yes, we see it, but it's more like artistically represented and more like we don't actually get to see how vile and disgusting they were. It's more like more glamored. It's more it's more palpable.
This part of the Stormblood storyline was really Yotsuyu's backstory.
Yes.
I do hope going forward, though, that just does not just turn into torture porn.
No, that's what I wanted to touch on. Is that now that we've seen it, we don't need to just keep pushing this.
No. I feel as if this is the end of that, because I don't see how it would in any way progress the story further in the final part.
Right.
Like what does Valen's get out of torturing Alphonse anymore?
Right.
We've seen him do it. We don't need to see him do it more before shoving him in the diamond weapon.
Right.
Yeah. It's just, it'd be unnecessary. And I feel like that at that point, like, okay, this is not 14.
Right. Yeah.
14 is not torture porn.
No. But it's good. Okay, so if this is it for the torture stuff, then that's fine. But I do like this, that we're seeing just how bad they are, because we've been dancing around it for so long. It's been like, there's this really fucking horrible dark empire that's this is what motivates Eorzea to fight against them. It's because that's threatening them. That's the future they might have if they don't win the war.
I think what makes this seem darker is because we have faces to the people that are being affected by this.
Yes.
Whereas, like, Xenos, Chad is bringing up that Xenos had a lot of people killed in as part of the Resonance Project, and we see their bodies, but we don't know who any of them are.
We often see them, like, just dead. Like, okay, heap of bodies. Sure, all right. But we don't see, like you said, we don't, like, really see how they die, like how fucking vile he was to them before they died. That's what Werlyt is doing now. It's like they're showing it. They're showing the system that's destroying these people. Yeah.
There's characters you care about too. If you care about guys, you'll care about the children dying because that makes him sad.
Yes. Yeah. All right. That is Werlyt. We are, good lord, near YoRHa. We need to move on. So YoRHa is a very short quest in what's that village called?
Comra.
So Konog is sad. So everyone's blaming him for the destruction caused. No, sorry. Anog is sad. Because Konog is sad. Fuck.
Anog's missing.
Yeah. Konog is sad because everyone's blaming him for the destruction caused by 2P and all the things that happened during that end of that quest, which was quite wild. But Anog is still missing. There's a couple of dwarves staring at us from a distance. One of which steps forward and it just says that his wife was very maimed during this event. And now he's very angry. Very angry. So Konog decides to get mead to make everything better, because that's the way to every dwarf's heart. So we go get mead. This is a really weird quest, because you're like, okay, we're gonna go get some mead, and then you have to keep talking to. It's like checkpoints on your way to the inn at right.
Still tied.
And so we get there. We get the mead. I'm just doing this very quickly because this is not a lot happening in this quest line.
Quest has fun with talk to Konog a lot, but there's not much in terms of
this time with feeling. I think one of them says when the husband unfortunately does not want the mead. He does not care. He does not want to talk to Konog at all. So Konog is sad, leaves, and he leaves us as well. He just he goes. I think
he runs into the bunker.
Yeah, he goes to the bunker, and then the chief talks to us and says that he will talk to the villagers about Konog.
He says on their side, he says it's not their fault. How would they have known that this was going to happen?
Right.
Just because they befriended this android.
Yeah. Yes. So we go to look for Konog in the bunker on the crater, as it's referred to in the game. Okay, so you go to the bunker. You go look for him. I want to mention just one really annoying thing is that when you go to the command room, and if I did this, I was too eager. I was sprinting around the corner and then accidentally tapped space and I jumped over the destination. You cannot go back. You cannot go back. So you have to continue into the ship and then go back and then restart the whole dungeon. So it was very annoying. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't thinking. But yeah, you get you find Konog. Well, you do find Anog, technically. Well, arguably. You get to Anog, and there's like this big egg, and then you get a flashback with Konog and Anog running through a cave.
Some caves.
Yeah.
As children used to do.
Yes. And then there's a cave-in, and Anog is implied dead, and Anog is dead. And then Konog encounters Egg, and Egg is Anog.
Becomes Anog.
An egg. So it just speaks like the chaos language, I think, or whatever, and then it like scans him, and then it's like Anog, Konog, Anog, or whatever, and then that's Anog. So Anog was Egg.
Yeah.
Anog died, and Anog is Egg.
He is at this point like Konog is the one during this flashback. Konog is the more eager one, while Anog is the more cautious one.
Yeah.
And as a result, Anog falls down a cliffside trying to stop him. Does the Anog from the egg become more like like Konog at this point because it's scanning Konog's personality, and then like Konog becomes more like Anog as a result because he's like now he's the cautious one, not because his personality was stolen from him.
Maybe.
That makes sense.
Yeah. See that. Yeah. So this is obviously a twist, big twist.
Yeah. They were a facsimile the entire time.
Yeah.
The text labeled them at least. So,
Yeah. So and essentially you get the option, but they all sort of mean the same thing, that Anog is dead and we must go. Konog leaves with us, and then we tell the chief. And the chief tells us that they found Connog and Annog. They are not native to Comra. That's that. And that kind of, I guess they have to say that because that explains how they didn't like notice that Annog maybe was different, or maybe they would have found the body. I don't know, like wouldn't, if this was like a cave in Comra, wouldn't they be like, they'd find the body. But yeah.
No idea where the cave is, to be honest.
What?
No idea where the cave
That's
is,
true.
to be honest.
That's
it's never
true.
clarified.
That is true.
The Echo Flash.
Well, you know what this means.
What?
They were both androids from the start.
I've seen this theory that they
What did you
Yeah.
say? That was Robot Deluxe for me. What did you say?
Sorry, I've seen this theory as well that they're both androids and it's not just Annog that is
Right.
one.
Right.
Yeah.
Possible. Yeah. Okay.
So that'll be interesting going forward, I think.
Yeah.
Is also this quest was labeled as blue for some reason, and usually they aren't, are they?
Yes, they are, because it's likely required for the next part of the YoRHa raid.
Yes.
So
Yeah, it is.
there's
But I
like seven.
thought they were turned blue as the raid came out. Or I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Possibly?
That, but okay. Well,
I think the 5.2 ones were blue as well.
we can't stay on this for too long now. We need to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One tiny other thing: the village no longer plays the carnival theme.
Right.
Sadly,
Right.
once you complete this quest.
Right. Okay. Void quests. Void quests. There's a spoiler for Void quests if you haven't done them. It's not. Okay, so I just want to say that Void quests not as cool as I thought they would be, but I feel like they're more setting up for something that will come later. But yeah.
Yes.
So Void quests unlockable if you've done all the job quests and the quests following that with what's her name?
Silver.
Yeah, Silva. So you talk to, I think we talked to her, and what is happening? I cannot remember Void quests at all.
I mean,
Okay, you go on.
oh no, you go ahead.
Okay. So basically she's like, yeah, so they're all dead. But you have their job crystals, right? And then you're like, well, actually I gave Ardberts to Seto. And she's like, oh, that's a good idea. But what are you gonna do with the other 4? And then she's like, well, maybe I can take them, but I'm not the only one with any investment in this. So why don't you ask all your other hunter friends their opinion as well? And that's when you gather everyone.
Yes, that's how we.
Party.
Okay, that's how we gather them. Yes.
Nice little drinky drink.
Yeah. Now that there's drinky drink, there's like.
Granson fucking dies.
Yeah, Granson just dies. So that was
It's a really comedic story.
Yeah.
Like, it's not what I expected.
no.
No, I liked it though. It was fun.
Yeah. So this brings us to Unukalhai as
They
well.
force you to drink alcohol.
They do.
I think it's the first time that the Gaia story's ever done that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So now we want to bring Unukalhai to the first, because it turns out that Silva and Unukalhai know each other.
Tangentially. They
Yeah.
don't know each other well, but
No.
they know that both escaped the void.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is perhaps this is so strange, because for us, literally since 5.0 until 5.4, we've been working on like trying to figure out how to get people from the first to the source, and it has been extremely difficult. People have almost died. Well, someone did die eventually for this. So it was very strange when Oriange is just like, all right, you want to go to the first? All right, give me a second. And then just fades out and then just fades and like, here you go. Here's the thing you need. And then that was that.
Here is this child that you have asked to put in front of Echo.
Yeah.
They try to justify it was like, I don't know, his soul's more malleable because
Yeah.
it's technically not from here. I don't know.
Right. Yes.
the idea is that like, he's not a full body and soul because he's not from here. He was
Right.
never a full body in the source.
True. So
It's better. It's better if you do this quest before you do the MSQ. Bit late now, probably done both, but it makes less sense that Orion just turns up when he's supposedly in dialogue with Thancred.
Yeah. Okay. What is our motivation now again? What's the goal now?
They just want to reunite, pretty much, because it's like, why wouldn't they? Because he's like, he wants to find his own purpose now.
Yes.
He doesn't want to be in the fucking, was it the Solar or whatever it's called?
The Solar, yeah.
He doesn't want to be in there anymore. He's like, take me out of here.
It's been there since Heaven's Word is done. They meet up, and then they decide what? What is this? I've forgotten the whole plot.
So first thing, we bring in High's soul crystal to Becklug, and he's like, why did you do this?
Oh, yes.
Did we not establish this is a very bad idea?
Yes.
And then you can just do very dumb responses saying,
I don't know.
Crystal.
Yeah.
And then Becklug's like, okay, I'll turn this crystal back into a child.
Yeah.
And so we go wait with Silver in the bar area. I can't remember its name. The Wandering Staircase?
The Wandering Stairs.
That place.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then we're like, we did something. And then she's like, what? Did you somehow manage to bring High to the first? And I'm like, maybe. And Becklug walks up with High.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what happens now? They have met. What now?
Well, earlier, first off, they decided what to do with the crystals, by the way. They're like, Celia gets to keep them and she'll tell stories. Like, everyone agrees to that. And at this point, they're like, oh, maybe we can do something about the void now. But if only we had someone that can get into the void.
Yes.
So then we're like, we know someone that can access the void.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that's how it. Okay. Yes. So there's. So they essentially want to save the 13th. That's like the main overarching story that's beginning with this quest line. Is the idea that they are able to perhaps save the 13th. So we start opening. We start trying to open a port or a gate or a portal to the void.
Yes, because High does not have experience with this. So
no.
Taynor and us are like, Taynor is essentially teaching him while we're there to make sure that they don't get murdered by whatever comes out of the void.
Yes.
Pockets.
Yes. They are successful, and there's like void sense coming out. Well, there's a couple of attempts, and there's voids.
Very weird. These are very weird cutscenes because they start like
go on.
With each increasingly larger like portal to the void they make, they start like boss music each time.
Yeah.
And that fades out.
Yeah.
Then you just fight them with overworld battle music.
Bizarre, because it's in the overworld. Why is this not in an instance? They do that with like practically every other thing in this game. Why was this one not? Bizarre. And I would have understood it if it was just like, because usually when they do it, so it's for those that don't know, it's the classic like purple ring with like, you know that there's something gonna pop out of there. Normally when they do stuff like this, it's just the NPCs standing there. They talk to you. It's not a cutscene, just they talk to you. Okay, we're doing it again, and then there comes the enemy. But this one has a cutscene. And it spawns the boss, and then it fades out, and now you're in the overworld with other people. It's very strange. Yeah. But yes, you defeat them.
You did this close. Just a lot of just void sense.
Yes.
In Lakeland.
Yes.
And eventually, once you've done it 3 times, Taynor and High are like, okay, we can do this. We can open one big enough that we can send something in there to find more information. So we gather Becklug and Silver. We go to Laxenloft, and Becklug has a Porksy ready to just send into the void, and that's also when the fucking 4-goal thing comes out.
Yeah.
But Porksy comes back.
Yeah. So now we know it is possible to go back and forth between this portal.
Mm-hmm. And Becklug's like, well, the Porksy has information, but we'll
have to wait until next patch.
Did you recognize the enemy that came out of the last portal, by the way?
The Forgel? The gargoyle thing?
Yeah.
Is that the same one that we fight in the beginning of A Realm Reborn with?
No.
Isn't it a white gargoyle? I remember misremembering this. Well, what is it then? Because I don't.
I don't know if you ever see him again, but
yeah.
That's apparently an NM from 11.
Oh, is it? Forgel.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Forgel that's the one from Mock. Oh yeah, he might actually be from 11.
Because he's a little face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually never thought of that. That might be true. Well, chat will let us know. Oh, sorry, comments will let us know if there's any 11 players.
I dare you.
Forgol is the closest thing we have to a handsome Voidsent male model.
Forgol also male's favorite. And
that is true. Female Voidsent are much more likely to be sexy.
Yes.
Is what we've established.
Yes. All right. That's it.
You quickly about the theory about how like people are suspecting Unalkal High is possibly a shard of Nielbert, and that's why his and Tanor's like were able to sync up so readily.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Yeah.
I could see that as a theory.
Possible. Yeah. I can.
I mean, there's always got to be a shard of someone, like. So.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that's sure. We don't have time to dive into that theory, but yes, that is interesting. That's the end of spoilers. What?
It's going to be the next 8-man raid.
Yes.
Story.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is the end of the spoiler cast. Now we are fucked. So that's just how that is. We're going to run way over time today. So we're already over time. 9 minutes over time. It's time for the MogMail special.
Oh.
Let's begin. All right, we're starting this now. Keep in mind that some of these are getting old. I have removed some of the ones that are too outdated, but note that some of these are pre 5.4. This is from Genova Tia from Twintania. Hello, speakers. Just a quick question I came to wonder about and can't remember how it has been addressed in game and in lore books. Since Garleans seem more or less incapable of manipulating ether, I just wanted to ask how far this goes. They can't at all, or they can a little bit. And also whether or not the Garleans are able to summon a primal because of this handicap. Do you think we will get more on this plot point later? Much joy to you and yours, Genova. That's actually an interesting question now after the MSQ, but... You're just going to have to live with the fact that every time we come back from MogMail, Georgi's like bottom half of the frame's just not going to fit. That's just how it is. Yes, go on, Rollo. You were starting to say something?
I would say it's their incapability to use or manipulate ether is more similar to like Thancred's, I guess, disability.
Yeah.
In the sense that he's just he can use ether-related things, and but he cannot control it at all. It is beyond his grasp.
Yeah. And
I would think that just extends to them. I could see them maybe doing a summoning, maybe like if there was like one person catalyst or whatever. But aside from that, they're completely. I would say
the idea of Garleans doing a summoning is interesting because, as Lakil said, with regards to the towers, they seem to be tempering people.
Yeah.
Is it possible that the towers exist so that Garleans can perform a summoning?
Oh.
And if so, who the fuck would they summon? Like what?
Super. What's his face? what was that old king that Hades was? The emperor.
Solus.
Oh,
Super
Solus.
soulless.
Yeah, you're probably not too far off because Garleans don't believe in icons, and so they don't even have, like, as far as we know, there's no monuments, there's no depictions of icons anywhere on Garlean soil. So
Yeah.
who else would they think of? They would think of their leaders, right? They treat their leaders as gods instead.
Or Super Xenos even.
Well, no one in Galamald really likes Xenos.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Solus is actually like looked upon fondly as an emperor. And remember, they have many clones of Solus's body.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, Fandaniel wants but so it depends on how this tempering works. Does the tempering just fundamentally change them? Because the man that we saw, the resistance soldier, he said glory to Garlemald, not glory to Zodiarch. So there's a Garlean tempering. It's not an Asian tempering. They are saying Garlemald. So yeah, oh god, it's gonna be like well, if it's Super Solus, that would be really cool. Like old like Solus with like, he'll be like a fucking Ramu type primal. That'd be pretty cool.
Another big beard man.
Yeah. We don't know. I don't think they can summon. What is required to summon a primal other than the crystals? It's just like
Belief.
just belief, which Garleans lack. So
I would say if they haven't summoned one by like they haven't summoned someone because they have been oppressed for a very long time.
Yeah.
So if they haven't done one by now, it's I would say it's because they physically can't.
And Garleans do believe in like the machine that is the Empire.
Yeah.
So the idea that they're saying, hail Garlemald makes sense.
Maybe they'll make like a primal that is like the personification of Garlemald, like just a unique.
It'll have gold armor.
Yeah, standard issue. I think that's. Do you think we'll get more on this plot point later? I think now we will, possibly. Yes.
With the catalyst, I could see it happening. Maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether that be a person or some new MacGuffin thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll summon something.
Yeah. That's interesting. Thank you, Genova. Next question coming to us from Meatrix Talkbot from Twintania. I know this one's too long, so it's not going to show up. All right. Hey, speakers. About the information from the latest live letter. So, yes, it's been a while, but the content is still relevant. That Blue Mage is getting updated. Do we really want them to continue with this limited job business? When Blue Mage gets an update, the community plays it for 2 to 4 weeks. After that, no one plays it. Something I like.
There are some people in our community that would disagree with.
Certain Lullafell. Something I like about Final Fantasy XIV is that when a classic job is added that doesn't fit the battle system, they change it to make it fit, giving the job a new flair. Take Bard as an example. In older Final Fantasy games, Bard has been a buffer/debuffer caster job with limited damage output. As far as I know, the 14 community never went berserk over the fact that Bard was turned into a powerhouse of a DPS with the more classical attributes, buffing, debuffing, being very limited. In fact...
Some people have argued about that.
Yeah. In fact, the community was not happy in 3.x when they made Bard play more like in older titles like 11 by being a caster. Instead of keeping Blue Mage like the older games, change it to make it fit into 14 like they did with Bard. The main reasons Yoshida have given us why Blue Mage is a limited job is because some spells are game breaking, and they don't know how they would balance the Duty Finder since you learn spells from monsters instead of leveling, which could make it possible to queue for a duty you have the right level for even if you haven't learned any spells. If Yoshida said, "We'll remove all overpowering spells, and instead of learning spells from monsters, you'll learn them by leveling up like the other jobs, but as a trade-off, Blue Mage will be a normal job that you can play as in any content." Would the community really be mad at such a thing? I'd say make Blue Mage a normal casting job that focuses on DPS. Give it some kind of rotation like the other jobs with all abilities and spells taken from monsters. The main thing about Blue Mage is using monster abilities against them. I don't care if I learn them automatically by leveling up, if it means I can queue up in Duty Finder like any other job. My name is Meatrix Talkbot, and I support this message. This message was paid for by Lalafells in need of shorter canes. That's funny. Right.
This is tough because I get where you're coming from on this, but I would say I think limit jobs are cool. I kind of wish Blue Mage was more solo friendly. It's not really. I don't think there's nothing wrong with Blue Mage being like this, because at the end of the day, I feel like when people say, "Oh, I want this job in 14, I want that job in 14," they want the aesthetic of the job, and that's kind of it. Because like you just said, like, oh, let's make it, make a normal job, just make it balance. However, it's like that could be any job though. Like it doesn't have to be Blue Mage. Like maybe you can get the monster aesthetic thing of like, oh, I'm using monster skills, but like, why not just make another caster then?
Why not make it his own thing, like Druid?
Yeah.
Like, and I get it, but like Dark Knight, right? That shit's all over the place for games.
Yeah.
That is all over the place.
Yeah.
At one point, they use scythes.
Yeah.
In some games, they sacrifice HP.
Which they can't do here because that would make them a very bad tank.
Yes.
Yeah, and in here they're a tank too, which is not something they always were.
Right.
Like, I like the aesthetic of Dark Knight, and I like how it plays too. But if Samurai was the tank instead, right, and it played like this, where you're using your MP to power yourself up and all that, and to shield yourself, and like, I don't know, there's like a shield skill, a Samurai skill that they give you, like then. Like, what am I really here for? Am I here for how it plays, or here for the aesthetic?
Interesting you brought up Samurai, because Samurai was a tank in 11.
Yeah,
but
wasn't it originally not intended to be a tank in 11?
That's the interesting story about Samurai.
It became a tank because it was it was able to dodge so many things.
Shadow tank is what we used to call it in 11, and then and it was not by design, and now it is just a tank. So that was the community changing it, but that's a core difference between 11 and 14 is that I don't think that would ever work in 14 because of the way the game is. 14 is more rigid in that sense. You can't do that. Anyways, Blue Mage. I remember when Bard. The changes to Bard are famous or infamous even.
Yes.
Because we all remember all the changes that Bard has had a tough time in 14. It was a caster, and then it wasn't, and then but Blue Mage, before Blue Mage came out, we had already come to terms with the fact that if we got Blue Mage, it was not going to be Blue Mage. I remember us talking about how they would obtain the skills, that they would be more job quest based, where you'd like fight a monster in the job quest, and then maybe that's how you got your spell, which is probably how they would have solved it here. There would have just been trials in your job quest, and then after that, that's your reward. You killed the monster, here you go, here's your spell.
See, the thing is about that solution is that they've been moving away from that. They don't like tying skills to spells.
Yes.
And so they kind of created this problem for themselves.
Yes, they did.
They change move them all the time.
Yes. Because that's
aside from key skills.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. It's just not possible. I mean, it's too late now, obviously, because Blue Mage is...
Whatever happened, they can't go back.
They can't go back.
Yeah.
It is
There's
sad.
so much work. There's so much sunk cost in this. They definitely cannot remove all this work they have put into it. That would make the carnival pointless.
Yeah.
But genuinely, I like collecting skills. I think that's a really fun thing. I think that's a cool identity thing to have for Blue Mage.
I think what a lot of people think. I think people have the wrong idea about what Blue Mage is. You're not supposed to treat it as a real job. It's a limited job. It's just a collectathon. You collect.
It's a mini game.
It's a mini game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what? Yeah, 2 or 4 weeks after update, it dies. All right, but some people will still use it. It's still there. So if you're bored one day, maybe you want to go get some Blue Mage skills. I don't know.
And hey, doing hard stuff like challenging content with Blue Mage, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's I wish there was a little bit more to it sometimes. But I think the solo content is pretty good. And it was something that couldn't exist in 14 normally. Like you could never do the skill collecting like this in normal gameplay. That could not happen. And I think it opens up avenues for other methods of play too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like with people always say, Beastmaster, like, yeah, that'd be cool. What the fuck would Beastmaster be as a main, like as a normal job?
Yeah.
I feel like this is that limited jobs is a way that they deal with problems that they've made for themselves, in the same sense that like they don't want to make any more pet jobs. Well, if Beastmaster's a limited job, they don't have to worry about that.
No. Yeah, I don't know. It's Blue Mage is Blue Mage. I don't see how we would change any of it now. It's too late. Too late.
No.
Right. Next, MogMail coming up. This was from Elliot Rivers from Spriggan. Dear speakers, in the 1.0 trailer, when Midgard's armor explodes, we can see primals emerging from the light without explanation. All we know is after this event, beast tribes started to summon their deities helped by the Asians. We have little information about this, but in the wiki we can read that the death of the dragon Midgard's armor, caused by the explosion of the warship's internal ceruleum tanks, broke the seal he placed on Silvertear Lake to contain the ether beneath it. So 2 questions. Did this release of primals have an explanation in 1.0? And if not, can we imagine with some retcon, as we now know that the ancients were literally creating primals, hello Ifrita, that they all were trapped in an ancient city/lab under the Silvertear Lake, the ether beneath it. That doesn't make sense, as primals seem to be spiritual concepts born from the will of individuals and do not always have a will of their own, Gabu summoning, but it's not the case of Ramu, who has a strong personality. On the other hand, if there were trapped sentient beings, why would they be linked to beast tribes? For worship and energy? Due to their nature, could their personalities have been altered by their servants, explaining their differences of personalities? Sylphs are much smarter than kobolds, aren't they? An extra question. It's definitely more than 2. Is it why Hydaelyn charged Midgard's armor to oversee Silvertear Lake, or is there something much more important in this place, like Hydaelyn herself? Best regards. Ooh, interesting.
Well, very quickly, I don't think sylphs are smarter than kobolds. I would have thought the other way around.
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, they have like the white one that we say from Totorak is like a. I don't know. Whatever. Does the release of primals have an explanation in 1.0? Not really. All we know is that, well, what was mentioned in this MogMail is that when the seal was broken, it released a surge of ether all around Hydaelyn and the primals somehow. That's the part I don't understand about that trailer, is that the already manifested primals are released. So, I mean, this is a 1.0 trailer. The trailer was probably made before the story was made. So
I think it's like it's a army of his thing.
Yeah, it's like fucking a million red Rosvelgers again. Yeah, I mean, it means something, because this has been brought up. We've talked about this before, how I think the thing underneath Silvertear is going to play a big part in the story at some point. Yeah. And they're just... I don't know. This is such a difficult topic. The ancients were literally creating primals, and they were trapped in an ancient city lab under Silvertear Lake.
So the last time that I believe we have... I don't think there's any evidence of any primals being summoned between after the third astral era and before the sixth.
Mm-hmm. Before.
Is it possible?
Yeah. Yeah. Go on.
There's no primals that we're aware of that occurred during the fourth and fifth astral eras, is there?
No.
So possibly something happened to seal ether underneath Silvertear Lake. And the release of that made it easier for beast tribes to summon primals again?
Sure.
Or was it a lost art after the Allegan Empire, and then finally, 2 eras later, El Habrea is like, yeah, guys, this is how you make them.
Weren't they fucking around with the primals and Authard though around that time?
Don't talk about Authard. I've said this before. Authard just fucks with everything, so they just don't exist pre-Stormblood. I think.
There's only one Autharian primal, and it functions differently from others anyway.
Yes, yeah, that's true. I don't know. Too big a question. Too big a question for my brain after 12-hour stream.
There is something in Silvertear Lake, though.
Oh, definitely something down there.
Or there was something.
Yes.
Either way.
Yeah.
It's not there in Lakeland, I guess, for some reason.
Well, okay, so that is something we can confirm, that there. I don't think they have retconned the fact that there's something underneath Silvertear, because there definitely was something before the crash, but there is also something thereafter, because Eric still references something underneath Silvertear in A Realm Reborn. And also Koji has brought it up before, and he said he can't talk about it. So there's definitely something, and because he wasn't sure if they were going to continue that storyline, and looking at where the fact that they mentioned the sound and all that, I think they're going back to that storyline. And I still think that's like a perfect way to like wrap up the full main scenario. Is the current main scenario is that we finally get to know what this Mordona thing is about. So yeah, could it be Hydaelyn herself? We've definitely talked about it before. That this could be like the easiest place to get to her, which is why it is protected by Midgard's armor, which is why he got so upset when. But it's weird because he doesn't really like Hydaelyn. So
but she let him live there.
She
so
did.
Like,
yeah.
Like, okay, like I don't like you, but like you gave us a place to stay. So
Yeah. So
least I can do is like watch the front door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we know that Midgardsormr had to have arrived with his 7 eggs sometime after the Sundering.
Yes.
Hydaelyn has to
I
exist.
don't want to think about that.
No, there's just so much. Yeah.
To all of them? Is there only one Midgardsormr? Is there? Is he split? Is it just a planet that's just?
We don't know.
Loop?
I've always justified this to myself is that only our planet is sundered, and that once you escape this sort of weird temporal dimensional tear in the universe, you don't have to think about it anymore.
Midgard's Ormur's backstory is like Authard. It don't worry about it. Not linked to our world at all.
Where do the alien dragons fit in? I need to know.
God, what a fucked up game this is.
As far as I can tell, dragons can seemingly travel through dimensions, because Tracevelga was able to come and save us in the interdimensional rift.
Oh, that's true. Good. Okay, we've had enough of this. This next question. Thank you. Thank you, Elliot. We'll move on. This one's from. Oh, it's your Novatia again. From Twintania. Hello, speakers. Just wanted to ask you a question, since it might give us some perspective on Fan Daniel. Since he is the first Sundered Ascian with a major role since Igiorm, do we know anything about the process of raising an Ascian to his status? Are they just given a title and that's that? What's the ritual process like? How do they receive their crystals of darkness? And most importantly, who and what they were before they were given their new status? yours with all love and happiness and other things of joy, Genova.
So, the Eden storyline suggests that unsundered Ascians have to awaken sundered souls to the fact that they were a part of a member of the convocation.
Right.
They shoot them with the Ascian beam, and then they shoot. Oh, I remember now.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Eden does not show how. Which one is the other one? The one that's not Metron? The one that Gaia is?
Logrif.
Logrif.
Yes. So yeah, unfortunately, that Echo flashback does not show us how Emmett Selk or La Habrea or Elizabeth, whichever one woke her up to her previous life, did it. So
it seemed like that cutscene was like shortly after she was awakened, though, right?
It was, but but unfortunately not. So we didn't see her become Logrif.
No. That's essentially all we really know about the Sundered. The Sundered is a mysterious part of the Ascian. Again, a part of the story that we're just now probably going to learn more about with Fandaniel. I'm sure when we get to know his backstory, we'll might learn more.
Maybe it's more in depth too. Maybe they like show them like a vision of Amorat, like, oh look, this is everything. And then they get like the similar Echo kind of thing, and like, oh okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe showing them a star shower is how it works.
Yeah.
An evil star shower, or I don't know.
Yeah. All right. That's that. We need to move on. Thank you, Genova. Eden storyline cleared some of it up, I guess. An unsundered needs to wake up the sundered.
Or you can fuse yourself with them. Seemingly also works.
That also works, apparently, yes. Next is from Ariabeth Fluffybutt, from Gilgamesh. Hey speakers, I loved hearing all the... So this one dates it. I loved hearing all the interesting thoughts and theories in episode 217. Specifically regarding Woggy's information about Dalmasca and its plans. However, this makes me wonder if those regions and their affairs are going to be handled in the next Bosnia instance, rather than in the next expansion. Since so much story and lore is now being tied to this YoRHa 2.0, it feels less likely that anything referenced or touched on will ever be a focus of the next expansion. Making the Stormblood Alliance raid a prerequisite to Bosnia seems fair, but making Bosnia and the effort it requires a prerequisite to the new expansion, that may be a bit too much. My fear is that the more lore dumped into this My fear is that the more lore dumped into this Bosnia project, the less it could affect the overall story, since one can be done without the other. So,
I could see some of it still happening in the MSQ, I would say.
Yeah.
Like something, like, I could see Gabranth even being like a main character in the next expansion, maybe. Like, yeah, we'll talk about a lot of him here and his goals, and you'll get like that little preview as if like you did, Coil before Heaven's Word. But I mean, I can get that, maybe if they do too much and it all gets locked behind there. Yeah. But I don't think they'll make it do it definitely just to get the new expansion. That'd be crazy.
I think Gabranth is very treated very interestingly in the Bosnia storyline, because he's mentioned a lot, but he doesn't really appear.
No. I feel like there's just too much story. Like, this is too deeply tied to like Garlemald that it'd be very odd if this is like not going to be part of MSQ at any point. Like, this is just a weird side story completely disconnected from what's going on in the MSQ. Obviously, it depends on where the MSQ is going. But right now, it feels like we're twisting towards Garlemald with the towers and all that.
It's sort of the way that we're getting Garlemald in side stories like this leads me to think one of two things. One, and this is the worst one, is that Garlemald will not be a focus of the next expansion.
That's the fourth expansion. That's right.
Yeah.
Or two, Garlemald will be involved, and they will probably require you to do the Werlyt storyline. To be honest, I would be surprised if Werlyt is not a requisite moving forward, because it actively involves Gaius, and I would be shocked if Gaius is not important in the next expansion.
Yeah.
As for Bosnia, I think it's kind of more ignorable.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. I think the reason we don't see Gabranth, for instance, is because he will probably be introduced in the MSQ. What he's planning is so massive that I don't think it is possible for the MSQ to ignore it, especially if it is going to, like the next expansion is going to involve Garlemald in any capacity. Because they're going to do the worst case scenario for me, which is that there is this massive story implication in the Bosnia story, and it is just not acknowledged in the MSQ.
You get a dialogue box.
Yeah.
You get one dialogue.
Yeah, there's like a passing reference to that. Oh, there's like a new nation being born somewhere, I heard. But yeah, it's... Yeah.
I think it's unlikely, but it is possible Bosnia could be made required.
Yeah.
Which would go a long way to keeping
so
it
much.
I know it's a lot, but it would go a long way to keeping Bosnia alive.
Yes.
After its end, unlike YoRHa.
And remember, it's very easy to get through the Bosnia story.
Yes, and
it is.
You don't even have to do.
Right.
Yeah, go on.
Chad is right. They could very easily nerf it.
That too. Yeah. They could make it very easy to get, easier to get through. So
could you imagine though? It's crazy. You have to do the mandatory 54-man raid or whatever before you can go to the expansion.
Yeah.
But the mandatory part is only the 24-man raid. The 48-man is the Savage.
Remember, Crystal Tower is already
I meant the
required, Rollo, for the MSQ. You have to do the Crystal Tower raid to progress the MSQ. So they've done it before. They can do it again. But yeah, yeah. Okay, moving on. We need to move on. Next, MogMail. Here we go. From Cheshire Saltiri. Zalera.
Whoa.
Final Fantasy XVI recently released its own website with details. They released a while ago now, with details on the new numbered entry into the series. I find it interesting that, while Yoshida-san is producer, he keeps mentioning 14 when talking about what's in store for 16. It may just be that he simply wants to keep both fan bases updated because he works on both, or it could be something more. It seems strange to me that, to market them both together when shredding about it for the first time. Wouldn't you want to just focus on the new entry? Sorry, when shredding about it for the first time, wouldn't you want to just focus on the new entry? This leads me to think that maybe they share a common lore or link of some kind. Here's my thought. People immediately drew the connection between 14 and 16 due to their summoning of icons and use of mother crystals. We know now from the website information that there are 5 shards of mother crystals throughout the land known as Valisthia. What if these shards represent the shards of a climactic rejoining of Hydaelyn and Zodiark, and that Valisthia is actually a sundered and reformed Hydaelyn? The shards of the Mother Crystal are also known as Drake's Breath, Head, Fang, Spine, and Tail, respectively. Does this have anything to do with Midgardsormr? Maybe he intervenes in the end against the Battle of Hydaelyn and Zodiark. Thanks, speakers. You guys rock my mog socks. So this is a pretty, well, not the specific theory, but a lot of theories about 14's connection to 16 has come up. It is very interesting because there are a lot of very interesting similarities between what we've seen of 16 and 14. The use of the word icons, just that is like, and it is Yoshida working on it. I think we might be reading too much into it. I think this is a little too much. But remember, it's almost as if we've forgotten how Final Fantasy works, because this is Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy will take things from other games and reuse them just so that we recognize it as a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
And I think Yoshi P, remember Final Fantasy XIV was Yoshi P's first Final Fantasy game that he's ever worked on. And obviously he is deeply tied to 14 because of it. Because of this was also not a normal game for him to work on. He literally had to kill one version of it and then rebuild it. So he is very deeply tied to 14. So I think it's just natural that some of 14 is leaked into 16. In a bigger degree than other games have, because that's my take on it.
I think the reason Yoshi P keeps mentioning both 14 and 16 is, chat said this earlier, to reassure us that he's not going anywhere. He's going to keep working on 14.
Because you remember, before 16 came out, when the rumors first started about 16 and that he was involved in it somehow, people were already, us included, started to worrying about, is he actually going to leave 14? Or is he going to step down as one or the other? Like, is he going to have a reduced presence in 14? So I think that's just him trying to chill, guys. I'm still your man in this game as well. He's bridging the gap, and also obviously it's a business move. It's because he wants 14 players to play 16. So there's also that, because there's a massive market in the 14 player base that he wants, he wants them to play 16 as well.
He's also said he's a fan of classic Final Fantasy RPGs kind of thing. So it makes sense he'd be using some of these terms like Mother Crystal and the high fantasy kind of look, and it makes sense.
Yes.
I think the truly exciting thing about 16 is that it's going to be like the first Final Fantasy game in the main series to really reference 14 as a part of the canon, because 15 came about as a sort of simultaneous development with 13.
Yes.
So it didn't really have much opportunity to reference 14, but now we're finally going to get to see 14 truly be something that influences future Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, and that's exciting. Next, thank you. Was that Cheshire? Cheshire Salty. Thank you. Next, this is from Brema Cat from Mateus. Hi, speakers. I have had a particular theory in my head for a while that I think Lukiel may appreciate, as it kind of explains the 12.
Oh.
Interesting. At one point during the story of Shadowbringers, it is revealed that the plan of the Ancients was to summon Zodiark to stop the calamity, and afterwards they sacrificed half their number to help make the world not rotten. It said that their goal was to nurture the new life and feed it back to Zodiark to bring back the lives of those they lost during the sacrifice. And this was the point where the ones who summoned Hydaelyn stepped in. As I understand it, this could potentially mean that after the sacrifice of the Ancients, humanity as we know it was initially created, and the ones who would eventually summon Hydaelyn actually walked among them and decided this life was too precious to feed to Zodiark, and therefore summoned Hydaelyn to protect them. The ensuing fight sundered everybody, ancients and humans alike, with the exception of the 3 remaining Asians, and souls that were sundered were given the ether needed for life after all was said and done. Thanks for taking the time to read this. Hope you have a good day. I just love leaving it hanging. Yes.
I like this theory.
Yeah.
As an explanation as to how Hydaelyn was summoned.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily all members of the original ancient race, and that some of them might have been part of this new race that was starting to be created by Zodiark.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good theory. I love any theory about the 12. Go on.
I don't know how I was going to say I don't actually know how this explains the 12.
No, I don't know how it explains the 12. It's just a theory
feel like
about the 12.
I feel like you clickbaited us, Bramer.
Yeah,
I think you. I think you pulled in Lakil because you know that's how you get him.
Yeah.
He just gaslit you.
It's an explanation of something that could vaguely be related to the 12, but
yes, I like it as an explanation.
Yes. Stay tuned for more. Don't clickbait us ever again, Brahma.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you for your question. Thank you.
Yes.
Next one. Next one's from Mizuryu Komaru from Ragnarok. Ooh, a Ragnarokian. Hello, speakers. A long-time listener and long-time 14 player since 3.1. Great patch, by the way.
Perfect time to jump right in.
Yeah, it was a great patch.
I mean, it was the patch that I jumped back into the game after my only hiatus.
Oof. As the years have passed, it's hard to not notice the decline of content quantity and at times quality. The casualization of the overall game to make it as easy as possible to attain new players, but at the same time alienating anyone wanting to feel rewarded for being skilled with the game. I've considered stopping multiple times, and if it wasn't for the 5.0 story and Gunbreaker, I would have done so. Now the patches have been feeling even worse than it did in Stormblood in terms of content, but I still play it, even though I don't feel as passionate for it. Do you guys ever feel like you're just keeping up with 14 because of the sunk cost fallacy we all suffer after years of being here? What's your limit with what the devs can get away with before you call it quits, or will you stick with it no matter what because of being a 14 content creator? 14 will always hold a special place for me, but it's going in a direction that it's literally hard to support for me. Thanks for reading this and keep up the work with the... Sorry, it's really hard to support for me. Thanks for reading this and keep up the work with the podcast. Thank you, Mizuryu.
I understand how you feel.
Yes.
I personally don't feel that way right now. I feel like the amount of content we're getting is pretty solid in terms... Like, I understand we're not getting as many dungeons as we used to, and that does upset me a little bit. I wish we got at least as many as we got in Stormblood, and even that wasn't really what I wanted. But I like all this extra content they're adding on the sides.
Yeah. I think... I understand, because as someone who's played for a long time, you can see it. You can see that, but it's something you will feel the longer you've played. It is the sunk cost fallacy as well, because there's a lot of... Okay. I love 14. I will play it till it dies. I hope 14 dies before I do.
Die.
I hope 14 dies before I do, but imagine playing an MMO that's like 50 or 60 years old. What a future. We've talked about it on this show that patches are getting less content. However, so I will agree with that. Quantity is definitely going down. But is quality going down with it? That's where I think I disagree. Because we had an uptick in quality on almost everything. I think MSQ is better, both in terms of storytelling and in just quality of cutscenes. There is more voice acting than ever before.
And remarkably, even with all the problems they would have had to deal with in regards to people working from home. Yeah.
We have, the dungeon that we get is, just compare it to like a Realm Reborn dungeon. It is like the latest one, like Matoya dungeon. It is heaps and bounds above most Realm Reborn dungeons.
Compare Matoya's Relic to Snowcloak.
Yes, for instance.
The equivalent that we had at this point in Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I wonder what you mean when you say casualization, because like, what part exactly? Because we have gotten like, I mean, yeah, I think the barrier for entry has been lowered in a good way. I think some stuff like cross skills and the multiple job leveling things to get other jobs, like, I think that makes sense to get out of the way. I mean, it encourages you to play other things, but yeah, sure. But like,
Well,
there's hard content in the game to this day. It's gotten like there's more hard stuff to do. Even I would say.
Yeah, there is. There's more high-end content than there used to be.
So, I mean, the casualization thing is is an ongoing discussion in the community because it is there is some would say that content is I don't want to like it's hard to really discuss this because we are not like hardcore
Casuals.
raiders. I mean, we are
Or hardcore raiders.
We are like in between. I think we're
We're
not
mid-core.
casuals in the, yeah, we're mid-core.
Which unfortunately is something not particularly catered for in this game.
No.
But that's not what the question's about.
No.
I think even the jobs though, like I do agree. I think some jobs have been like simplified in kind of a negative way, especially with something like Astrologian.
I was going to say all healers, except arguably White Mage, but I can't speak to White Mage as much as Astrologian and Scholar.
Yeah, I think healers have definitely suffered from that.
It's possible that you could say that about White Mage before this, and then now they're on the uptick, and we're in the point. Scholar and Astrologian are in the point that White Mage was in Stormblood.
But yeah, that is perhaps the biggest. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the changes to jobs, that they've lost a lot of their personality. They've become more cookie cutter. They're all the same, deep, like ranged and melee and healer and tank. That's what it is now, right? While before they were more like, remember we talked about Bard earlier, where Bard was like originally like a buff class, like it had a purpose as a buffer, and now it is just pure DPS output. That is, I think I've seen that, and I think that is sad. That the jobs are losing personality just so that they can get the job done quickly. That is the casualization part that I can see, and I don't agree with a lot of the stuff they've done with some of the jobs. I will say that, and I've been vocal on that before. Sorry, I am disappearing from frame. I am sorry.
God though, like. I don't know. Like, as a person who plays a lot of tank now, tanks were bad. Tanks were super boring before. They had less complexity. They were less fun to play. But now it's like, I don't know. Like
they're fun. They're
engaging.
Yes. Tanks have
been difficult too. Like you have a range of complexity between the jobs. I would say still, except for healers.
You're right. Tanks got this was their expansion. Tanks got fun to play now, but except look at Warrior now. Warrior used to be a fun class, but now because everyone is good now, Warrior is just.
The problem with Warrior is they got their fun before, and now everyone else is just caught up.
Yeah.
Warrior, I personally don't think Warrior is that different. It's
online in line with the
before.
Others. Yes,
you've had it before. It's not new. It doesn't feel as exciting because it's not new.
Yeah, it's true. But it's the same thing that happened with it's essentially the same thing that's happened to all the classes though. It's that they're all in the same line now. They're all this. I mean, I feel like it's a positive change for tanks specifically because tanks, like we said, was in a very bad, boring spot, especially Paladin. Like Paladin was the 1, 2, 3 tank, and it was horrible. Now it is actually quite fun playing it.
I look at some jobs like Dragoon, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Dragoon, aside from usability, I would say usability across a lot of jobs has been brought up, or I mean, made more usable, I should say. Like heavy thrust, that was a thing. I feel like making heavy thrust a bit easier to like keep that going is it makes it easier, but you still have this other Dragoon stuff you're juggling. You're still worried about your jumps.
I think the problem with Dragoon right now is that it's not. There is one part of it that is not fluid, and that is having to refresh disembowel.
Yeah.
What they need is to add something into its rotation that allows you to do it more naturally than having to force it.
Yeah.
As you do right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're just. Yeah, I don't know. I see. We're sort of explaining the casualization without realizing it. I think because I said that things are becoming more similar. Like tanks are fun now, but they're very similar to each other. I think that's the part of casualization because now you can just pick whichever one you want. If you like the weapon, you can pick whichever tank you want. Do you want a gunblade tank? Do you want an axe tank? Or do you want a sword and shield tank? And that's it.
I would say though, I think they are still different enough. Like they've got standard cooldowns for the most part, I would say, and I think I get that part. But I really think in terms of other defensive skills, like they're still fairly unique. You still got covered. No one else has covered. No one has anything else that works like covered. Maybe at best TBN kind of works like covered in that you can give it to someone else.
Yeah.
Flash is the self-heal thing going on too. Like I still think they've made it easier to play and get into, but it still retains its identity and increases complexity even too.
I think with the tanks, the reason they feel similar to some people is that the basics of them are similar, but it's the building blocks on top of that make them unique. All of their immunity, their panic button skill all functions differently.
I see what you mean, but now there is still some difference. What we're saying is that we are on a course. They're not saying that it's done. It's being casualized, right? It was if you go back a couple of expansions, they were very different. And I think the approach they went for was let's make them closer to each other than to try to repair them. It's easier to make them more casual friendly, right? I'm just trying to support the argument from the MogMail.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think what people are hoping for, and which has kind of been supported with how they've been treating crafters this expansion, is that they want to bring them closer together so that they can make them more different later.
Yes. That's hopefully what
it's probably better for the community to have them start similarly and then expand into different directions later on, so that you can shift between them and not have to worry as much, at least initially, about not playing them potentially poorly.
Yeah.
But as you said, that makes it more casual. But that's the start.
I've said So that part, the other part is when you've been with an MMO for a long time, there is always going to be burnout. There's going to be a point where you question whether or not it is worth playing it anymore. And that's just normal. And usually what you do is you either decide to soldier on in the game or leave. You change to a different game. And this is perhaps the strangest thing about this game is that Yoshi P is like, just play another game. So I guess it's that, but I don't know. That's not an answer to this, but it's not a solution either. What's your limit with what the devs can get away with before you call it quits? Or will you stick with it no matter what because of being 14? No. So I've said this before. If 14 goes free to play, that will be the end of this show. I will not be a host of a podcast covering a free-to-play game. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. And part of the reason for that is because I feel so tied to this game. Like it's so it's sort of like I've been on this journey of this game, like saved it from literal death. Not me, but like the community. And then brought it up as a Realm Reborn, and I just don't want to see it go into that free-to-play zone. However, we definitely have free-to-play elements going on in the game right now, and that's something I struggle with in 14, is to just accept that as part of, it's old now. They need to do this, because this is what every other game does. So it's not like 11. 11 does not have to do that because its player base doesn't care about it. Like they don't care about it. They don't want microtransactions in 11. In 14, I mean, I'm flanked by 2 people who want microtransactions in the game, and that's just how it is. So it
I
doesn't.
will say, I don't know if I'd phrase it as want. I'd say accepting of.
Well, accepting. Well, you are definitely more accepting. I mean, you to the point where
Yes. I'm definitely saying that. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say that I'm anti-microtransaction. I think that is an absurd
Yeah,
argument for me to make.
Yeah. That's the only thing that I that would break me from 14. Otherwise, and also there's obviously other stuff, like maybe if they made really horrible decisions with the game, like if I can't even think of anything, but like if they decided that no more expansions, we are just doing we're adding Palace of the Dead floors every 6 months. That's the content going forward. At that point, I'll be like, all right, time to tap out, everyone. Yeah.
I'd say I would be done once I'm like not engaged with battle content or like jobs. So, as it is now, I mean, that sounds silly. I do spend a lot of time hitting dummies, and I love getting like a rotation down perfectly. I obsess over getting the numbers just right. And even with the amount I played, even the amount of tanking I played, if I picked up Gunbreaker, I could not be optimal at all. And that bothered me.
Yeah.
And so I would have to be the absolute best Gunbreaker I can before I played seriously.
Yeah.
And I do that for every job. Like, it's fun getting to explore it, and it's fun mastering it in every piece of content. And so far, that's still keeping me going, and it still gets me to try stuff that is out of my niche when it comes to type of roles I play. And I guess if that runs out, that would kind of be like, ugh. But I mean, playing this game fucking forever, and it still kept me going.
Even if this became a free-to-play game, and as much as I would hate that, if they kept the story at the quality level that it is right now, I would still come back to it every story patch.
That's the problem, because I think that's inevitably just going to fall.
I agree that it's unlikely that those two things would coincide, but if they
there's
manage
always
that.
And so I want to explain the free-to-play thing, because I don't hate every single free-to-play game. I just don't want 14 to be it. And there is a specific reason for it, and that's because 14 has a very good story. It has very good parts of the game that is possible because it is a subscription-based MMO. They know how much more or less know how much money they are guaranteed each month. They have, like, with a free-to-play game, that changes dramatically. They can either get a lot of money in bursts, or they will just slowly lose players, and then the people won't be buying their microtransactions, so they have to add more. They cram more in. They spend more money. They spend more resources on getting shit into the store, and so MSQ starts to suffer. That's the fear, and that's the path a lot of free-to-play games go down, especially games that aren't made for free-to-play. 14 isn't made to be free-to-play. So that conversion can damage games.
It was Star Wars.
Yeah, I am reminded of Old Republic, where they had to, like, I brought this up before, but you have to buy hot bars. Buy hot bars! What? That's bonkers. Imagine doing that in 14. There's like, you've unlocked Scholar, but to access the pet hot bar, you have to pay 10 euros. Yeah.
That one was now.
No, that was a joke, but still.
Thank you for the great discussion topic, Misery.
Thank you for spawning a great discussion. We are 15 minutes over time, and we still have more at MogMail, and we will just read them. So that's just how it is. But now we might have to speed up. This is the same one.
I saw you were in chat, by the way. Thank you for your input.
This is from Guiltia Zodiark. Hello, speakers. Here's a fun game. What are you looking forward to in 6.0? Wrong answers only. I'll start. Lord of Romanian for MSQ progression, 5 wins every 10 quests. I think it would really bring some life into the game and make the intern responsible for minion stats very happy. Mandatory ERP session with Oriange. Would you describe it to me, Oriange? Paint for me a picture with your words. Looking forward to hearing your answers. Take care.
Oh, that's sexy.
The dating minigame.
Yeah.
That's mandatory, actually. To unlock Ultimate. Nothing? Come on.
You have to win a
Something.
triple triad tournament, which means you get one chance every 2 weeks.
Guildhest roulette, mandatory, once a week. There you go.
Otherwise, all other content is locked out. You can't even move.
No.
Once the week timer is up, you have to open up the duty finder, click Guildhest Roulette, and go in.
You'll spawn in like that place where you're in the character creator. You'll just be floating in the ethereal sea, and they'll be like, "Please complete Guildhest Roulette to continue."
You'll spawn in the GM jail, and then there'll be a GM there that says, "You haven't done your weekly Guildhest Roulette. You will not leave this room until you have done so."
And then there's just a circle of people going, Guildhest! Guildhest!
Oh, you know what? The Gulag feature. They're bringing it for Modern Warfare. Every time you get KO'd, you have to fight another player for a chance to respawn in whatever fight.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Guilty.
It'd make use of the duel feature that's not used at all in this game.
All right, next. Brick Road, Marlboro. Spoilers regarding 5.4 Void Quest ahead. That's fine. It seems likely... Well, spoilers for Void Quest.
Violence!
It seems likely that the 13th Void will play some role in the story moving forward after the events of the Void Quest. After sending in the exploratory Porksy, Becklug states that he has to review the Porksy's findings and it could take years to deduce a suitable solution for restoring light to the 13th. It seems like this could be setting up for the 13th to a focus of 7.0, as I think the timelines would make sense. Since time flows more quickly on the first, and we will presumably spend the majority of time on the source and maybe the moon during 6.0, many years will most likely have passed on the first by the time we are done with 6.0, and Becklug's research may be completed during that time. Could the 13th be a destination for an entire expansion like the first was for Shadowbringers? How would they handle zone and occupants in this case? What do you think?
If it's just a couple years, I think it'd be okay. Like, they wouldn't have to change too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, if it's like 5 years, like you'll see some of the characters on there get older, kind of like probably like Reed and Gaia or something. And I don't know, maybe they'll rearrange some stuff, but I don't think they'll change too much.
Please don't have Reed grow up and have Alphino and Alisaie stay as children.
Oh God, no.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah.
It maybe like desyncs for like a couple years, and that's the explanation.
Disgusting. It's like Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, where Huey, Dewey, and Louie are still children, and Max is now a fucking college student.
What a pull!
Okay, we don't have time for these. We don't have time for these references. Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think I see the Void as a full expansion.
All right. Next question. Thank you. Brick Road. Next. Guilty again? Oh, yeah. Hello, speakers. How is you do? Oh, this is this? What is that YouTube? What is her name? How's you doing? Is you good? Good, because I wanted to know. That's Closel? Oh, that's an old YouTube reference. There you go. For those who get that, you get that. Many moons ago, you guys...
Closel.
Yeah. Many moons ago, you guys were talking about Emmett Selk and the role he played in the Allegan Empire, but the discussion didn't go far because we pretty much know nothing about his time in the Allegan Empire. Funnily enough, right before that, I read somewhere, although I can't remember where, that Emmett Selk was Amon. That would fit his profile. Lead researcher, plotting the Empire's course, creating dangerous tech that would eventually lead to its downfall and further calamities, and extremely flamboyant. And he wears a skull mask. He's Hades with a skull mask. But like I said, I didn't have a source and he was already dead, so what's the point? But in the last patch, when Owen is talking about his research on iconic corruption, he says that Lord Amon himself issued a cease and desist and ordered the records to be wiped. Now, why would the lead researcher of an empire at war with primals not want to look into a cure for tempering, unless he's an Asian who sees tempering as a useful tool for triggering further calamities? Like I said, I have no idea where I read the first bit, but I think it was on TV Tropes or a Reddit thread somewhere, so take it with a generous serving of salt. But I would like to know what you guys think. Happy holidays and a happy new year. Kiss, kiss. Thank you, Guilty.
Emmett Selk being Amon is definitely a theory that I've seen on Reddit.
Yes.
I don't go on TV Tropes often enough for discussion.
No.
So I can't speak to that. I personally don't think he can be Ammon because Ammon was frozen inside the Crystal Tower the whole time, and that is the same reason that Emet-Selch cannot be Xandi.
Who? Oh, Xandi. Yes.
You
yes.
think he would admit to that?
We already
you know.
and also
Yes.
Xandi has the Emperor has the added like problem of dying and being dead for a long time and then being resurrected as like a zombie as well. So
It's possible he was the original Xandi.
maybe possible. I do like the idea that Hemet was Amon. But yeah, like you said, he was frozen in the Crystal Tower. So
Yeah.
it's not him. It is strange though that we don't know what he did in the Elegant Empire. He must have had a huge role. Because he kind of states that he's the reason the Elegant Empire became an empire. That he
And that could explain how that he was the original Xandi.
Yes.
And then like he when Xandi was reborn or
that
cloned,
was just his
that's just something else.
like a primal almost. Yeah. I can see that. All right. Thank you. Guiltia. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Okay, next. Ooh.
All right.
Oh, we're only two more. So this is from Yalbisa. Heyo, I think my prediction may have come fruit. Boar fruit? Screw English. I agree. About Broom Enclave,
no,
at
you
least.
don't.
Well, screw English in like some of the sayings, but definitely speak English. Speak English. About Broom Enclave. At least I'm still under the delusion it will come. Anyway, so after deciding to stop being a lazy Warrior of Darkness, I decided after a year to do the post-level 80 job quest in Crystarium. It's literally been a year and well overdue. So, I'm not sure if any of you have done it, so I won't spoil it. Well, we have. But I highly suggest we'll be saving the 13th the same way we did the first, except reversed. I would be totally in for it. I'd be very excited, but of course 5.0 does not have any suggestions as to that. And I wonder if the moon is connected to the 13th as maybe a means to travel or something. It was said someday we will visit together about the 13th. Does this smell like a side quest or a full 7.0 expansion? I may have missed your speculations if this was discussed beforehand. If so, sorry, but not sorry for wasting your time. P.S. I want to hug Rollo. There you go.
Well,
thank
you definitely
Yalbisa.
didn't miss out on any discussions because most of our discussions about this happened after you sent us this question.
Yes.
We basically explained this.
Yes, we did.
Hey man,
It
Colin.
Mm,
Well, no, he has to unlock so much stuff for it to be an 8-man. He has to level up 4 different roles.
yeah.
mm,
All right. Yes, we've since we have answered this in this episode, we'll just have to refer to that. Go back and listen. Go back and listen. Assume you have listened to the whole episode. So yes, we've already answered it. But thank you. Big kiss. This one's from Remy Asalia and Myth Lafern from Cactuar. So, the Eden quest kind of ends in a way that feels like there's more to come. Gaia is half Asian or something. Darkness gets said a lot, and then there's a festival that's supposed to happen later. The Void quest also end unresolved, and unless something changes, it'll be a long while before progress is made. What if? What if these two quest lines intersect? Maybe Gaia is our catalyst for change in Becklug's work, on account of her Asian powers. Also, if this is read on time, happy holidays, stay safe and stay warm. Thank you, Remy. And Myth?
Happy holidays.
I like this theory.
Yes. And it would be like a good idea. Yeah. I can see how that would be like, because otherwise it'll be a long time until both of these storylines get resolved. Probably.
Well, I feel like the festival thing will get resolved next patch. I feel as if it's like a
This is
celebratory
true.
final
end to it.
into it.
Read the letter from.
It'll be
Mage.
like the Allied Beast Tribe quest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like that.
Guy's got some big parts to play in the future, I feel like.
Gaia,
I definitely.
yeah. And it's also a nice way to... I mean, she can just travel. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. I support this, Remy.
But
Yeah, but
soon.
With
Definitely.
maybe
Yes.
The time skip.
yes, yeah.
Possibly Reen can't, because I believe Ascians have said, I think it might have been Metron that said that like he can't, or maybe Fandaniel, I can't remember. It was one Ascian in this recent patch
Mhm.
said that they can't actually bring people between like shards. So,
Yeah.
but
the
maybe
power-
Reen's special. Maybe Reen's special because she's part Minfilia.
Yeah. Okay. That's that. Next. No, that's it.
No more.
It's over.
Sorry, Hero.
Now we need to do a post show. So that's we have to read questions. We are obligated to read questions from the syndicate, especially considering it's the last episode of the year. So that is okay. We have cleared MogMail, so we're ready for 2021. Now we need to do the post show. Thanks for watching this episode of Speakers of Fidlan. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Remember to follow us Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersFidlan, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server. If you're watching on demand, links in the description. That's that. That's the end of the show for this year. We'll see you in January 2021. Remember that Speakers of Fidlan will still be on Twitch during most of the holidays, so you can still catch us there. But if we don't see you there, we'll see you here on YouTube if you're watching on demand. Oh God, next year.
All right. Bye.